99% ni wa Meru. So I want indi ya Meru na tuko sawa. So we can settle down, please, kindly. We can close the serving now, kindly. Our guest of honor is coming in. I want all of us to stand as the mzee comes in. He's the guest for today. Tunaweza simama zote. Turungame twinde, baraba kuria tureke, baraba osavu bareke. Our guest of honor is coming. I want us ndenda tumuringire nkemi barabaringa nkemi barabaringa mpe baringe mpe. This man has done a very good job. If you are told to remember, even the youngest people that are here, you just remember 20 years that you've lived on earth. Trust me, you can't remember some of those years. But if you look at that book, Mzee can even remember the day he proposed to the wife, where they were, the time, who they were with, the ones he used. Don't you think that Mzee is sharp here? So I just want all of us, we settle down. Please, if you are eating, I beg you to stop. There he is at 96. I'm told he was born in 1928. Amekula chumvi, amekula sukari, wacha hivyo kila kitu siku hizi mnaambiwa msikule. Yeye amekula kila kitu. And you can see he's still strong. At his age, ile kimombo anatadika. Njenzi wenye mko hapa hamuwezi jameni. Trust me. Yes, that's what I want. Yes, let him feel the warmth of the people that he has born, he has taught. Tafadhali, makofi as mzee comes in. Hata mimi si wafeel. Kama si wafeel mzee wafeel. Na maji ni wa kuoshwa na maziwa. For real, hata mkimwangalia amekuwa akioga na maziwa. Huyu si mtu ameoga na maji, acha parara. Hapa hakuna wamama wako na ngemi tafadhali. Wali tulileta watu wa Nairobi. Bwana Kiaudha at 96, make sure you are strong as that mzee. Yes, yes, yes. Until he settles down, continue the music. Thank you, DJ. Kindly, let's close the serving stations for us to begin. If you're at the serving area, just get settled so that we can begin. I'm told today tunaongea Kimeru. Sasa, just want to do, nataka tu kujaribu. Mbone kidhani ya Meru tuwe na bo, kidhani ya Meru Gen Z tuwe na bo, kidhani ya Meru Millennial tuwe na bo. kana kethane Ameru bandia tu enabo. You know kuna Wameru bandia. He can't even know a single Kimeru word. So I just want to have you to have a friend. I want to do us to do just a small introduction. Make sure you have a friend. Kwanza mwenye atakuwa na Gen Z huyo ndiye atakuwa amenisaidia sana. As the governor settles down, as the professor settles down, I want you to have a friend. Kama wewe hauna friend, utakuwa na kona kasoro, wewe na kauntu. Hello, mugeni. Naiba wako ameitikia salamu kweli? Aweteke riankedi. I just want to be sure tu ina Ameru wa mugeni. I'm telling you kuna mtu anafanya hivyo. That means hiyo imemtip. I want you to look at that friend. Nataka tu umpatie umwire Njuno idhato wake shia Kimeru so that I can understand my audience this evening. Njuno idhato wake please. Na let that person not mama. Yani kia udha kwa mberi ya kodogania. Tatu tu ndio niweze kuelewa. Na sikuambia kiara kemoke teoraganda. That is common. Wewe siwaambie huyo mtu mko naye hapa huyo mzungu labda ni Mumeru. Maybe ametoka Soboiga. Hey. Bwana Kinoti amefloat. Nyanga bana na ulero inkuona Kiraito His Excellency forgot. You finished. Thank you. Haya Kiaudha, what? Amekwambia nini? Kiara kimoke tiora kanda? Vile that's not Juno. Yes, Juno. I just wanted to understand keda ni Ameru tu enabo, ni Ameru bandia tu enabo, injensi tu enabo, you know jensi siku hizi hata ukiwaambia maumau they will not understand. My name is Purity Kirote Kirebe. Most people know me as Kirote Kirebe. I'm your MC for the day with my brother Mr. Mutunga. He's my co-MC. Want to begin this wonderful event this evening. Tunaenda kuambiria na jira ya Maromba. And I said we will mix because we are coming to launch a culture book. I've read so many things here. Kenda tureka kuguranira babarene Mr. Kiaudha. Because we don't understand culture. So when we read this, we'll understand if you marry in Meru or you get married in Meru, what should you expect? Kenda tuteka ugae tutekuelewa Kimeru. So that is why we are coming to launch this book. So that when we talk about independence, tukiuga ituonere uhuru, we may understand what really this entails. Want to sit down as I invite Father Peter, who will lead us in a short prayer. Let's sit down kindly. Father Peter.
Tusimame. Tumeambiwa tukae lakini nawaomba tusimame. Kwa jina la Baba na la Mwana na la Roho Mtakatifu. Baba yetu uliye mbinguni, jina lako litukuzwe, ufalme wako ufike, utakalo lifanyike duniani kama mbinguni. Utupe leo mkate wetu wa kila siku, utusamehe makosa yetu kama tunavyowasamehe na sisi waliotukosea, usitutie katika kishawishi lakini utuopoe maovuni. Amina. Mungu Mwenyezi wa milele, tunakuja mchana wa leo mbele yako, tunakushukuru. Tunakushukuru kwa zawadi ambao umetujalia, zawadi ya uhai ambao tumekusanyika wote pamoja hapa. Tunakushukuru kwa zawadi ya baba mzee wetu Aredhi ambayo umemjalia maisha mema tangu utoto wake hadi amefikia hapa. Tunakushukuru wewe Mwenyezi Mungu kwa kumtunza vizuri, kumtunza vema na familia yake. Tunakushukuru kwa hekima uliomjalia, umemuongoza na ameandika maisha ambayo aliyoyapitia, ili sisi zote na watu wote waweze kusoma na kuishi kuiga maisha aliyoandika katika hiki kitabu ambao kinaozinduliwa siku ya leo. Kwa hiyo hekima uliyomjalia, tunakushukuru Mwenyezi Mungu, na tunaomba uendelee kumuongoza, uendelee kuwa pamoja naye, umkinge kutoka kwa yule maovu, umpe afya iliyo njema katika maisha yake, ili aweze kuendelea kukutumikia katika kuongea kwake, kuandika kwake, ili watu waweze kupata uhai na uhai tele ndani yao. Yote ambao tunaenda kuyafanya jioni hii ya leo, tunaomba uwepo wako, Roho wako Mtakatifu atuongoze, ili yote tuyafanye kwa ajili ya utukufu wa jina lako. Wote waliopo hapa tunaomba baraka juu yao, ili tukiwa tumebarikiwa, yote tunayafanya kwa ajili ya utukufu wako. Pamoja nawe tunaomba utuongoze jioni hii ya leo. Tunaomba hayo kwa njia ya Kristo Bwana wetu. Bwana awe nanyi. Awabariki Mungu Mwenyezi, Baba, Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu.
Thank you, Father. We may have our seats. We in Kimeru University, I want to invite Dr. Susan for welcoming remarks.
Thank you, MC. Our chief guests, my dad actually, Mzee Aredhi, our chief guests, our governor, distinguished guests, all our visitors, good afternoon. On behalf of Kenya Methodist, my name is Dr. Susan Laimaru. I'm the principal of this campus, the host. And on behalf of Kenya Methodist University, we are telling you karibuni sana. Feel at home. This is the university of your choice. And we are also telling you that we feel privileged, honored to be the university hosting the launch of this wonderful book from our father, our grandfather, our brother, and our uncle. As I look at it, at his age, he has written a book. And to assure you, friends, I've read, and most of us here are doctors, but none of us has even written a chapter of a book. This is a challenge, and I like that this challenge is being given to us as an academic institution. Therefore, the young ones who are there, who are here, especially our students, I've seen them walk out, take this as a challenge, and then we write those books. The books will give us the memory of our country, our villages, and our towns. And on behalf of our VC, Reverend Dr. Ataya, he says that he was not able to be here today, but he says that he is with you, and he also feels privileged to be a VC where this launch is being made. This hall is for you people. Anytime you want to use it, tell us. We will arrange it for you, because this is your university. And be proud of your university. Karibuni sana, and may God bless you and bless this occasion. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Susan. Hey, Amiru, yani si nimeona tumepitia pale na tukafanya ile maneno tunafanyanga ndio tujue kuongea jameni. Your club is so cold. Kwani imetaxiwa? Have we taxed your club? Because inakaa ni kama ya pia hapana. Let's give it up for Susan kindly. I want us to stand. And the DJ, I want us to do kanyere kainagui mwene as we do some recognition before I get the list. Tusimameni, and kindly somebody help me to close the serving area so that we can have one event. Then we can do the service after this event. Because sasa mwenye sitaona akiimba ndiye atakuja hapa imbishe. Mwenye atafungua mdomo wewe ndiye utakuja hapa uimbishe. So you better shake it properly. Kanyere kainagwa imwene. Kanyere geto today is Mr. Aredi Jamen, is it? Hey, Mr. Kiauda. Kanyere geto it's Mr. Aredi. Jojo ogoturita na kirira gya Kimeru, oturita na maumau ya Aredi, waturita nora kwagurana watene. Today you are our Kanyere. Let us
Okankwini otegauge otera inagwa Kanyere. Kainagwa ane mwene Kanyere. Kainagwa ane mwene. Okankwini modoni Okankwini otegauge otera inagwa Kanyere. Kainagwa ane mwene Kanyere. Kainagwa ane mwene. Nakamwena emodoni nakamwena otekauge otera inagwa Kanyere. Kainagwa
Amero baiba Nairobi ba. Amero baba tekonata baiba Nairobi ba.
Mwene nakaukange monyanya nakaukange otekauge otera inagwa Kanyere. Kainagwa ane mwene Kanyere. Kainagwa ane mwene. Twende chini modoni twende chini otekauge otera inagwa Kanyere. Kainagwa ane mwene.
The only person mwenye anaelewa hiyo Kimeru ni Kiraito Moronge. Twende chini. Hali amo kwa doshi doi Kiraito. You prove a point. Thank you. You may have your seat. Thank you. Taonyesha kwenye mtamuinia. Mtu mwake nwanko kuinua ni wari Mr. Rethi, mukuru wa Rethi, Ntorieria. Kigembe na Kimenti 2 ones apart. Thank you so much, and that is why we have the Kimeru Institute, so that we can put these things together. Tomenye Kimeru ke consolidated. I want to recognize a few guests that are with us this evening. I want to start with my boss, my former, my current, my boss. Used to say, he's not as foolish as he looks. And for real, we know he's not as foolish as he looks. I want to recognize His Excellency Kiraito Moronge is with us this evening. Give a clap, guys. Thank you so much. We want to recognize the former boss DCI, Mr. Keynote. Help me recognize and also appreciate Professor Linus Modori. Thank you. I think some of these people will have to stand later so that the Nairobi people can recognize them. Thank you. Help me to recognize Mrs. Kiraito as she comes in kindly. Thank you. Put it up until she sits down kindly. Kwani leo tuko na Wameru wanakaa aje? Welcome. I want you to help me recognize Professor. Our guest of honor will be, of course, Professor Kaberia, but I want you to help me recognize Professor Ellen Beria. Thank you so much. Today our Wameru ni Wameru mbonoko. Hii ni GMO. Hata wale Wameru wa kawaida wamekuwa GMO. I think that is why we need the Kimeru Institute in Nairobi, so that people can be taught our music, they can be taught our culture. Ndio tukifika mahali kama hapa tunatoshea zote, si ndio? Thank you so much. I want to invite my co-MC, who will invite the speeches, and I think he's gone, so we will still continue. Thank you. I want to invite, today we are here to launch a nice book. I hope all of us, we have a book. If you have your book, let me see. If you bought this book, I want to see. Kama uko hapa na una hii kitabu, si unanikosea jameni. If you don't have this book and you are here, abomination, that is bad. You are launching something that you don't know. Kuna hata wanafikiria tunakuja kulaunch katiba mpya. Ala? Kindly, make sure whoever is giving out or whoever is selling these books, make sure somebody has this book. We cannot launch something that you don't know, something that you don't have. Maua toyete kugemeria ready today. Is it, guys? Hii ndio maua leo. Tukisema ready akisimama, hatutaki makofi, tunataka hizi vitabu zikweju. I want to invite my co-MC who will run the program from there.
God is good all the time. Why is he good? Because that is his nature, and Tuareg is here, isn't it? Siapigwa makofi. Let's appreciate Nkiro. He's our expert. I'm going to tell you pale tumpeleka because we are people of value. 100 years guarantee for male women. Makofi. Sasa, before we proceed with the speeches, I ask Father Henry to give us a bit of reflections, then we can move on. Father. Alafu nakwambia vile alibariki Marwa. Makofi ingine kwa Father afadhali. Ya pili. Fungua.
Your Excellency Professor Kaimenyi, Muzeleo nitakuita Your Excellency also, Your Excellency Mse Faustino, Your Excellency Governor, and other invited guests. God is good, and all the time. I wrote some few words here that I would like to read, and I chose to read them because today we are launching a book, and books are written to be read. And the title of these few lines is Faith, Freedom, and the Journey Within. We gather today in gratitude, celebrating the remarkable life of a freedom fighter, a committed Christian, and a man of wisdom, who at an age close to 100 years offers us his reflection in Memoirs of a Freedom Fighter. This moment is not just a book launch, but a testament to a journey of faith, sacrifice, and inner transformation. This event beautifully aligns with the Lenten season. Mzee is a very devout Catholic. He was actually a catechist, and therefore we want to recognize also this holy season of Lent, a time when we are invited to undertake a journey within, a spiritual pilgrimage that calls us to reflect, repent, and renew our commitments to God. Like the Israelites wandering in the desert, like Christ retreating into the wilderness for 40 days, the journey of a freedom fighter is also a journey of purification, perseverance, and hope. A true freedom fighter does not merely seek external change, but first undergoes an internal transformation. As the book of Proverbs tells us, The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, Proverbs 9:10. Wisdom is not just about knowledge, but about a heart formed through suffering, prayer, and discernment. In the Gospel of John, Jesus reminds us, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." John 8:32. Freedom in the Christian sense is not only political or social, it is ultimately spiritual. True freedom is spiritual in nature. Many great men and women who fought for justice, think about St. Oscar Romero, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and many others, knew that true freedom begins in the soul. Our Mzee, His Excellency Mr. Faustino, Memoirs, tells of the trials, struggles, and victories of his life's mission. But beyond the historical record, this book is also an invitation for each one of us to reflect. Number one, what battles am I called to fight? Number two, what inner chains still bind me? And number three, where is God calling me to a deeper conversion? Writing is an act of witness and wisdom. The act of writing one's memoirs is not simply to record the past. It is an act of witness, a gift of wisdom to future generations. As Psalms 90:12 says, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." At above 80 years old, this book is a fulfillment of a sacred duty to pass on the lessons of a life well lived, of battles fought with courage, and of faith kept despite adversity. St. Augustine is one of the greatest saints in the church, a doctor of the church as well. Reflecting on his own past in his book Confessions, showed us that to write is to pray, to reflect, and to help others see God's hand in history. I conclude like this. As we celebrate this book launch, let us not see it as the closing of a chapter, but as an invitation. Our Mzee's journey continues, and so does your journey and my journey. The season of Lent calls us to embrace this same spirit of freedom. Freedom from sin, freedom for love, and freedom to serve God wholeheartedly. May this book inspire us, like St. Paul, to fight the good fight, finish the race, and keep the faith. 2 Timothy 4:7. And may we all, like our beloved Mzee, our freedom fighter, our staunch believer, leave behind a legacy of faith, courage, and wisdom for those who come after us. Mzee hands this book to us. What are you going to hand over to the next generation? Mzee, Mungu akupe maisha marefu yenye furaha, amani na afya njema. Tumsifu Yesu Kristo.
God is good again. Kuna watu wako na njaa. God is good. Why is he good? Say I'm a living testimony. That's number one, isn't it? If you are not good, then God cannot be good. But if you are good, God can be very good. na no ntinko na nduma batikuigwa bwega mbura rugono batiri mwauma muywa eta kria kada yemwe kada ijiri kada inya kada idano women fellowship jo muona Catholic Women Action afternoon da kenda yang Catholic bakwendo muona ta komi akurubate amuona aitia aikinya kajirene mukuru rote tejukuru na kunyamba akewe amura mugaba atiri amura mugaba no uri mwega amura onjo kuruka kuoni kiro kunda padre akundwa marwa midhomba auga marwa ni mega jariga gampara na nyonza kudhalima marwa wana batirwa madira afadhali now we are going to have the James Muiraria to give us the review of this book. James is a publisher, is a writer, is a graduate of Kenyatta University and worked for a long time in Longhorn Publishers. Is a friend of Ntuaredi and a great beneficiary to us, our community, and a great person in this country. He will tell you more about himself, but I believe when I grow up, I want to become like Henry, so that I can write a book, like what the Chinese philosopher said. If you are be successful, you must do 3 things. You must hire a child, otherwise you'll be forgotten. Number 2, you must write a book to remember. And number 3, you must leave a legacy of something which can be remembered for, like Ntuaredi has done. So let's put our hands together and welcome James Muiraria to tell us more about the book. Makofi. Hebu pigeni makofi mkiwa mnasimama kwa sababu na mko wengine wako lazy. Can we stand up please? Makofi 1, 2, 3, 4. Fungua. James.
Thank you very much, Bwana MC. Good evening. God is good. Urungu no mwega. Magita yonde. Ameru mugeni. Ba kuroke oni kurieni. Ba kuroke oni kurieni. Yoyo muga. Yoyo engwe kana keguo. Ameru ankwenda bachokia. Yoyo engwe kana keguo. Ndo ya chia umambe yango tagere. I think the MC who said that we are GMO, where is she? MC who said that these people are GMOs. Come here, I want to greet you in Kimeru. So you are chickening away. Okay, my name is James Muiraria Murongi. I'm a teacher by profession, but also I'm in media. I'm a journalist also in training, and also I do publishing, editing, and a consultancy in education, and especially in curriculum development. I also write. My specialty is Kiswahili. Kwa hivyo mkiniruhusu pia nitakuwa nachanganya Kiswahili kwa Kiingereza kwa sababu katiba yetu inasema katika ibara ya 6A ba cha. Honorable Kiraito Murongi, that Kiswahili is a national and official language and it should be available in all our documents. So is our local languages, Kimeru and others. But I am here to reflect and also talk about the review of Ntuaredi Toreiria Faustino writing the book that we have published. And this day it makes me feel that we are so blessed as Ameru and as a country because there are some things that are in that book that I've never read them anywhere in the books that are already published. We talk about facing Mount Kenya and others that reflect and talk about Mau Mau and the freedom fighting. And the freedom here is not in context of liberation for political aspect, but also it too looks about liberation in terms of spirituality, what the father has talked about, and also self-liberation. the internal liberation which comes through reflections. I wanted to just go through the gist of that book because Faustino has given me 3 years of sitting and talking about this book. I think we started around 2018, where he was giving me the story. Of course, the story was already written, but he is telling me this is what I did in 1949 at 8 a.m. somewhere. This is what happened in 1950 on a Thursday morning. It was raining and it was 8:55 a.m. and that record is there. He started writing in 1940 something. And all those books and papers, everything else that he has written from that time to date is live. And he has a very big library. But let me go about the book itself in very short notes. That these books, we talk about books as the special things more than I think the servants in palaces or in king palaces, because they reveal the secrets of either an oppressive spouse or a ruthless or a rogue regime. Servants will not tell us what happens in the bedrooms. Books are our best archives, and because they give us memories of our human experiences. And without books, our history would melt away with every passing day, especially today when we are full of information, or we have barrage of information from every other source, and especially with our shrinking human relations. And when I mean human relations, I mean even here, I've seen people come, but the level of interaction is not what happens on a normal circumstance where people are greeting, shouting, and chatting. We are saying that what we are today is as a result of books. We have professors, we have farmers, we have every other type of profession, but all these professions come from books. The best inheritance that we can give to our children are books. The wisdom of the world is stored in books. The expression of freedom, sorrow, joy, and happiness is always expressed in books, whether you call poetry, you talk about short stories, or even oral narratives, which we end up putting in books. The ideas that we have, which are the magnets which we have, usually are brought together by books. And that is why those speakers who spoke before me, they were talking about professors, they were talking about priests, but they were talking about them in relation to the books they have read. And that is why their wisdom has been transmitted to us through the books. Now, these ideas we are talking about as the magnets that we are celebrating today are from the writings of one Faustino Toreria, as we launch this book on Memoirs of a Freedom Fighter, is exactly what I'm trying to talk about. And the Memoirs of a Freedom Fighter is a personal account on the struggles of a Kenyan freedom fighter before, during, and after Kenya's Mau Mau War of Liberation. It is an individual account of self-determination and also a reflection of our people's psyche in shaping their destiny. And Tuareg, from his humble beginnings, and also born from a very simple traditional family, he tells us about his struggle to conquer every stumbling block on his way to freedom. And as a child, he fought for freedom from the traditions that did not make sense to him then. And when you read that book, you find some of the things that he was forced to do when he was a small boy, mweye, whatever you call keye or bieye in plural, were things that Tuareg started fighting in 1940s. And one of the things that he fought is this that I'm going to quote from his book. But instead of stepping away, the woman whose grip was strong to a little boy that I was, pushed my leg down and made me step on it again. Yuck. It was a horrible, disgusting sight, and a feel whose meaning I did not understand. Leave me alone, I shouted at the woman as I wrestled myself free. That is page 9. You can see this is a very small boy who is being forced to step on a placenta, for those who understand Kimeru, for whoever was born after you, so that you liberate them, so that you free them to start suckling and to give them freedom to grow. but he was finding that as not important at that time. And then Mr. Ntwaridi, at that very young age, he was trying to fight against anger, njaa. The Ameru says that mpara etendi, mpara ete aibu, mpara etendoni. So this Ntwaridi Faustino, the young boy you see there, I usually call him boy when you are doing a tete-a-tete, he knew that from the very beginning he had to fight against anger. And he says that he had to keep on chasing away rats and mice from the Gitu. Gitu is that reeds granary. That is part of the freedom he was fighting for, to make sure that there was survival for not himself, but the community and the village where he lived. And I quote what he says, what he was doing in that time. I found myself taxed with chasing after a multitude of my mighty, fat rats that came to feast on the food in the granary and forgot their way out after eating too much. I would chase them across the compound, clubbing several. And he goes ahead and he says that if rats and mice by that time were food, he would have made some weight because he was so thin. You can imagine the freedom he was looking for the village by preserving food that was coming hard during that time, because people would not farm due to the war that was going on by the Mau Mau freedom fighters. Ntwaridi fights for freedom from ignorance. And he says that he was being taught A, E, I, O, and then he would graduate to Kake, Ki, Koku. That was 1950. And therefore, he went to school to fight against ignorance. And for his love of books and knowledge, he wanted to free himself and also free other people around him. And that is why he was being faced by buffalo in the forests, because he had lost his books, and he made sure that he would trace those books by going to Mount Kenya forest to look for books after they were lost when they were being chased by Mau Mau. And he says in page 136 that he had to fight the buffalo by bare hands. The small he was, he made it, and he survived. That is how he was serious with freedom fighting. He wanted to free himself from the jaws of the buffalo. Then he joined Mau Mau on 10th of September 1953. And how he joined the Mau Mau is what there was some other took place. Being a teacher as a catechist and also as a teacher in primary school, he had to sneak out of the school, but he stole a clock, a school clock, because he wanted to be free from missing any day. He had to go to the forest, but what valuable he got from the school was the school clock, and he carried it away into the forest. Why? Because he wanted to be free, and he wanted to record every single action and activity that was taking place every hour. And therefore, he says that, he goes on to say that he disappeared and he fought from Nyeri to Embu and back to Meru. And later he was arrested and taken to prison in a place called Liliaba in Tigania. Liliaba is a misconstruing of a place called Liliahapa. Liliahapa was an detention camp. So the white people who were torturing Africans, they were putting them in that place because it was dry. So ukienda kulia unaambiwa nenda kalilie wapi? Hapo, lilia hapo. So that is the origin of the name Liliaba. So the Ameru would not say Lilia Hapa by that time. And he was detained, and he left detention in 1957. But the point I'm trying to make through the reflection of this book, there is a lot of information about how we as a people, we need to fight not only for the political freedom, but freedom from anger, freedom from religious misunderstanding, where we were called the Black Continent and all that, because that is why he became a catechist. Freedom from ignorance. He went to school and he taught. There are notes that he wrote in 1950s. He has them even today, very clean. And he also went on and fought for the children to get education, and that he was fighting for the Africans. He didn't fight for his family only. He is here today, and he is fighting, and whenever you talk to him, he tells you he is still fighting for freedom. A luta continua. I would beg that we buy this book and we read it, because I cannot give you the gists in detail about what that book entails. I would just want to say that the government has also realized that there are people who have very good stories, and therefore, from probably next year, the senior school for CBC, they have introduced memoirs and autobiographies for Kenyans to be read in school as compulsory text. And I think Mr. Ntoaredi and that vision. Thank you very much. Let us buy the book. We can get more stories from the book. Thank you very much and welcome.
Hebu tusimame tuimbie huyo mkawimbo. Nitamwambia ni gani. Those of us who are born near the Uhuru can sing with me. Those who don't know can learn. We are the... Hebu tusikia kama najua. If you don't know, listen to Mheshimiwa Kiraito. We are the... We are the Bururi wa Kirinyaga.
Tonga natuambia tuimbe wimbo yeye hajui. So mzee anajua kuimba. He is the one going to sing for us. So ngoja nimpatie mic. Alafu tumsaidie. One stanza. This is the Momo anthem, which was being sung not in Kimeru but in Kikuyu. Where are thee? Where are thee? That's how it goes. Where are thee? Naidaka. Where are thee? Bururi wa Kirinyaga. Bururi wa Keno. Waitwamba na metito. Kenya nebo. Liwa layo. Tutulaya kunyitwa kana gutwara njera kana gutwarwo isegerera tondu tutigatiga gutetera wiathi kinya bururi wone otheri wiathi na ithaka wiathi wiathi bururi wa Kirinyaga Bururi wa Gikeno waitwamba na metito Kenya nebo liwa. So I was just teaching you, let the mzee sing. Where are the Mantewetenge? Where are the Bururi wa Kirinyaga Tutiora wa konyitwa ka utwarwa ichegerera nyamuto tiga weathi nairaka weathi nairaka weathi bururi wa Kirinyaga bururi wa Gikeno twamba na metito Kenya ne bururi wa Ndwairo. Thank you so much. Apige makofi. Asante sana.
That was generally to set the mood and to bring memories to Ntoaredi and those who are very emotional about these kind of things. To bring us to the current now are the agencies from Ruaraka Methodist Church to come and tell you, yes, we fought for independence, we got it, now we can celebrate, we all inclusive, from freedom fighters, their children, Muzungus, Africans, everybody. Ruaraka Methodist Church, please, can you come? Where are we? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Muchai Kadorima. I'm the chairperson of Youth Ministry Ruaraka Methodist. And with us, our esteemed guests, distinguished guests, and all protocols observed. From Youth Ministry Ruaraka MCK, we're presenting a skit that portrays changing of times from pre-colonial to colonial times and post-colonial to today. Sit, relax, and enjoy. Niko hapa.
Uitwa Kimathi. Kimathi mwana ona uturika.
Orwa Kimathi uturika kana tonja kuinjenda mwanka ya mundu ora eri.
Eka nawe ntolithara. Uwe kwibundira menyere musiu yo seri. Kwibuyu na manto ya karangi.
Manto akaria.
Manto ya discipline yo ni kura. Ende uwe turi akuru batu to atere wetana. Tukariria manto ya. Ala. Kira tolithara ibibi uraria.
Ndaka. Bibi yako.
Tegoria we museo we teto we menya we mea wente mea kuendelea kuria we.
Ano ndo kuria no kumenya kwe anto ndaibo iba kuthiolonga.
Bakari murume.
Na niamba.
Amba?
Niamba.
Na ate murume we ya kambira.
Hello guys.
Hanse murume baba.
Kawe na yani no tambera.
Are murume lele muntu bo ero oyu.
Owe na nteto.
Hanse lele. Ate ante muga ante.
Eyo.
Washington.
Eyo.
No rekoyo murume oyu no tunere oyu murume aya.
I'm a human being like you. My name is Joel Washington from British.
Bani amba ba murume we tole dara we murume.
I'm why you black.
Are.
I'm from
Are bani we tutenda kudia na ndo baka ni we murume ko kudinja kana we are ka tutu kwenda we murume we
We know
etawa yo tole dara we manto ya ito kwenda turana
Mwana.
Ito kwenda turana manto ya.
Yo kwese kia atibasua.
Atibasua emwite ya mwite.
Ina.
Eka dhambi. Ya yo ya.
Labo ya moyo. Eyo. Ya garandea. Kunyukwe.
No tuira.
Na uwe.
Uni ato seda sister kwao.
Kangu tumeke mwana uyu muru.
Yambira.
Otegorita ngwe.
Murume invite ne kuwe. Inji mote kwania.
Yoko mawa yoro yo muolo. Yonti si yo abuyu.
Ya. Ende mwaro yo kore. Mwaro yo kwa oni buranko muthwaniria. Nkumuthaneria umwe na nako isekia. Na ate ukona wenda kere kya we na ate umiona we.
Nteo mienda.
Arenda kaya kuntendo mya mwaro yo. Ndendo mya mwaro yo
Kangu ira kwa maana.
We
muye thigiria.
Mwire.
Ndendo kare ya bau. Wakara ya nyukwe. Ukuwata. Na nondo ba manto ya. We namba bari nture. Mwaka yumwe turi yeye twana ya uwe.
No guthigiria we.
Uwa inkuibwa. Turi yeye. Turi setha. Ndirero mwari ama beyere na njiro we na baramuya munda na baramo. Uwa inkubata. Na tombo lelia. Kangu irewe.
Bere tolethara.
Oni ntiomba ko aria mwana uyu. Agari yaina. Ati wata
oni boke thia ntiro uyu.
Ariawe.
Ntiro uyu. Unga ko maboya. Yare mabura metacio we.
Utari mpaudhone oronte kwenda nteto ciana.
Ato batia we ndu bau bagise.
Oni na atu eta.
Jenga cio tiro gwibwa. Ai muyi. Ng'ombe. Igare we impara gwibwa. Teto mbone mpaudhe. Mugoro kwa.
Ibanto wego bwa kuibarere kuia.
Nte kumenya ni bare.
Ni kwenye ba plastic. Hata mtombo tunia ki. Atunia yani ai ndende nyobona.
Owiyo wone ne ino batiri kwethira we bamenya.
Ani ankamenya ndo ntona. Lakini anto boi bathoki no uibe barorwanire so.
Lakini umeba botokana ni abatwira tokona ni lwabo.
Ndakae laingo ngakira mto plastic.
Menya bato.
Dena ai ni mbio de momero.
Me bato ro amukai.
bate mboro wauni atubetere tone githaba mboro tubetere tone githaba ke baie munda yoto ndio
me bagoro ito
ne wanu isi baba gono reko wanu isi baba gono reko
te guerere ti bau
eria ndela ingo.
What's your name? My name is Joy Washington from British. What's your name? This is my wife. This is my wife called
Emma Washington.
Emma Washington. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, little girl. You good? Don't be scared, little girl. Yeah, I'm white. You're black.
Oh, plastic.
I think they don't know us. They don't know us. Your name? What's your name? What's your name? I think this is Jacob. This is Jacob from. He's very tall. This is Jacob. This is Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob.
This is Jacob. I'm Jacob. My name is Joel. Your name is Jacob. Say Jacob.
Jacob.
Jacob. Your name is Jacob. Jacob. Right. And the little girl seems scared. The little girl seems scared. What's your name? We call her Zipporah.
Right.
You're Zipporah. Your name is Zipporah. Your name is Zipporah. Don't be scared. I think we should show them something amazing, something cool. Do you guys want to see something cool? Do you want to see something cool? Don't be scared. There's fire. There's fire. There's fire. Oh, there's the guy. That's the guy. That's the guy who's brutal. That was brutal. Yeah. Just come. I show you something. Something cool. Something cool. Let's show. I was showing the kids something cool. No, it's this fire. It's just fire.
Manto ya buire we. Eh? Ay. No me kuiba que rugia kuiki nunca. Que koya que kuo boma. Endere.
I think they get it. That's fire. That's called a lighter. It's for fire.
Voto que dentro le dará.
Yeah.
Anto ape na manto me aceite ya. No gona bo we. We no gona mwanki dai to yuri na kai to ke dio.
I think they get it.
Voto que dia.
I think they get it.
Anabato batiera ni nanto baba tino manto me aceite ya we.
I think they get it.
Ari moyo wono ko mari mono ya kuibo we we. Kintu kiro ke tiko kwa thikiria.
Yes, the parents. They tell the
parents. We dio babo te ora ukinda we.
Guys, I think this is something cool. You guys have amazing features.
What are the no go anda?
Yeah. I think they get it. I think we should talk to the young generation. I think they seem to understand what we're saying. Hello guys, I think you guys are good now. That was a little fire, don't be scared. You see where I come from in British, that's called fire. Now, I want to teach you something else. Yeah, I want to teach you something else. Come. Little boy, come.
In the land of Meru, our people walked with pride, our language, our customs, and our traditions guiding every step. Respect for elders was law. Communal living was the norm. Our attire spoke our identity. Fast forward to today, our culture has been eroded by the Western ideologies and our influence, and we are facing serious challenges of losing our culture. By now, let's see what goes on afterwards.
Oni kwebundra njiri kuona murume yeyo
ogoroba nani
we kwebo kuona
murimo wake ni yeyo
we inkwenda tukarana nde turi akuru no tubo kwithira ana babe tu ibo sensia owe ibo sensia
Mbera.
ana iba kwenda bari tano Kimeru nontu uwe nukuona mwari aregire kuma nara gwitwo Nairobi eya ati kwaranira ina we inari mwetia ithania una iringirasi
Kana kama mwari okwa kambetire mbunda
une tukikwenda ambite mpasu
imbi pasu
ndasimbi ndi unu kintu kana kuthwania
yagira owe no withire ogimenya nkwirwo ibaratomi okutaigwa ndakekera ito yena nteto
murthaka ora ciaro riri
ituyu gira ito bena mantu aha bareta ikemu
kirende kwire kwina kemu
tawa tani mbio
yetera ngole sende irito kemu Kimeru Institute ndi murume yiyo kurtana Kimeru ndi murume ndi yo ngo ndi ne tomenya
Kimeru gakisoge ibo bagura iri
izo banda iri we lakini wanzunguza muno ndi boto kethia ni kwithira tukaendia na beto bathoma kemu Kimeru Institute kenda bamenya kuelewa Kimeru bwega
basoge
bomba kwari na heshima no kwata
na mekerere basi
indi kunenya yuku riraturire
yuku
riri ni kuri muguru wetu ntaire thio 1928 yo ciaro rindi so
ndakeye
wende bonko na twethio we
ndakenjo mema
ndenda wete naranje mukila nara wete wirantu nda ndenge kiamba njo toka ngeta mbere bangi bonde be kemuko kemu be bathomere kemu Kimeru Institute no kwata
mosi ukaura nchonge baba
nebo baba ntiura
turi amwe
kompura we
konkinda.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. Santeni.
Tumesoma, tumejua, tuwachapie makofi afadhali. Thank you very much. Now we will call the next speaker because he has been mentioned by the group here. Mheshimiwa Kiraito Murungi, the immediate former governor of Meru. Kiraito, please may stand then as I introduce you. You make comments on behalf of the Kimeru Institute, and I would like to say a few things about him. If I had to say everything, or even half of it, to take a long time, because Honorable Kiraito Murungi is household name, so I will not attempt to do everything, but I will say a few things which I think are important. Number one, Mheshimiwa Kiraito was the MP for South Imenti for over 20 years, and you know what happened. Chapiwa makofi afadhali. He was the cabinet minister for energy. He was the cabinet minister for constitutional affairs, and you know what happened during his time. We got the new constitution. When he was minister for energy, almost every household, we moved from about 17% to about 80% of households in Kenya being with electricity. He became the senator of Meru. Achipewe makofi afadhali. He became the governor of Meru. He became the chairman of National Oil Corporation, which is still the chairman. He is the chairman of Center for Multi-Party Democracy. So today, he will tell you he's been leading all those 20 parties to see how we can guide them because of his experience. Makofi afadhali. He is the chairman of Kimeru Institute. Makofi. He is a chief happiness officer. And he is the father of nice, obedient children and the husband of Mrs. Priscilla Murungi. Simama Priscilla, tuchapie makofi afadhali. Tupigie gavana akiwa anasimama hata moja, mbili, tatu, nne, tano. Fungua.
Thank you, Tonga, for that flattering introduction. You told you I'm a chief happiness officer, but in tell you the organization. I'm the chief happiness officer of the Happiness Society of Kenya. We can call another meeting to ongea hiyo maneno because that's why we are also here. Our chief guest has a new title, which you don't know. I know you know him as a former Minister for Education, former Minister for Lands. You also know him as Ambassador, Professor Kaimenyi, former boss of Nairobi University, and all those things. But now we're in the village. So there was a big ceremony in Meru recently, and the Kaimenyi was made the Mogwe of Meru. Kona ande turingere ni Mogoroi. He is accompanied by his wife, Stella. Ela kwenda kena moneta wa Gatiri. Stella Gatiri apigwe makofi. Tonga introduced asked my wife to stand, Priscilla, but he forgot to tell you that she is the first lady of Meru. Because akuna another first lady who came in after her. You brought a man. So she still holds the title until another lady is found. I see there are very many guests who are not introduced. And in interest of time, we not introduce all of them. But allow me to mention, was there like Joseph Kenyuya, who was, the treasurer of Kenya 3 years, na mambo mengine. We are very happy to see you here. Next to him is Brown Burugo, a family friend of the Ntwarevis for many years. He was also a very big shot in the education sector. I first knew him as the chief inspector of schools, and then he went to work for ILO, International Labour Organization. So, karibu sana Brown. Then we are also members of Njuri Ncheke. Kuna babo kia maja. John Keremi. Yes. Anaitwa mzee Gateru. Wakati tunakutana huko ndani. Apigwe makofi. Kaburu Mwirisha was the CEO of the Electricity Regulatory Board. That time, very famous engineer. Engineer karibu sana. Spora Gitonga is sitting behind there. Sibo. We have Mark Gitonga, the chairman of Saudi Mint Tisako. There was Professor Gitonga from Karatina University. Let's appreciate him. And allow me to stop there. In the interest of time, you are welcome. We recognize you. We fear you. Wapigwe makofi wote. But the only person I know I will pay very if I don't mention is Keuda Arevi. Wakili Keuda Arevi is a big family friend of Muze. I know he has come all the way from Meru. He used to be our Attorney General in Meru County during my time. So, karibu sana wakili. And of course, our host, Susan, always there for us, our sister. If you are here and you are director of Kimeru Institute, please come forward. Wako na uniform. There's the others without. Come here, I want to introduce you. Please come quickly. So, Peter, karibu. Yes. 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 I think in the interest of time, let me give you their names. From this side here, ambaye mzee ambaye uko na kofia, is called Gitonga Mutungi. He's a director of Kimeru Institute. The lady next to me is called Doreen Mutegi from Chuka. She is a lecturer in the Department of Business Administration here at Kemu. She is a director of Kimeru Institute. Mwingine anaitwa Jacinta Kagendo. Kagendo has a PhD in Kimeru, and she is also a lecturer here. She is the CEO of Kimeru Institute. Then we have Susan Makenda. Susan is the principal of Kemu Nairobi campus. People think this is a small campus. The campus has almost 2,000 students now. So, I'm sorry, she tells me it has got to 4,300. I think in terms of numbers, we can talk about it and compare with what you have in Meru. Susan has done a great job. She is a director of Kimeru Institute. Apigwe makofi. Sospita Kai is from Itungu. He has been working in Canada, and he is also a PhD, but in languages. He's the one who translates Bibles into Kimeru, and he is here for a short while, so we recruited him to assist us in the Kimeru Institute. So Sospita Apigwe makofi. There are others who are not here. Dr. Mwirigi Amanja is the secretary of the institute. He's an economist, but now he's the chairman of the Kenyan Bureau of Statistics. Let's appreciate him. Then there's another lady, a Mumeru married in Congo, called Dr. Anzuruni from Tharaka, and she speaks 15 different languages. And she's a key pillar of Kimeru Institute. So I think that is who we are. We have some support team. In due course, we get to know them. So those are the people we are working with. So karibuni sana, please get seated. What are the objectives of the Kimeru Institute? Kimeru Institute has 3 objectives. It is to promote Kimeru language, to promote Kimeru history, and Kimeru culture. We are doing several things under those 3 ends. We are trying to preserve Kimeru history. We know there are many writers who are writing in Kimeru, including Mzee, and that's why he's here today. So we are trying to bring all these writers who have been writing Kimeru together, because if you try to look for Kimeru books, you don't find them. So we want to create a repository here, so that researchers who want to find anything about Kimeru can come here. We have an external advisory board member called Professor Fadiman, who has written the most extensive book in Kimeru, because he lived in Kimeru for 6 years and wrote his PhD in Kimeru history. We have published that book under the Kimeru, under the title The Meru's Golden Age. We'll be able to share with you the book in some of the function, in our functions. We have very many copies. And he's still writing more books. And he's going to send his son here. And because the son is also interested in Kimeru. Professor is an American. But the way he wrote his book, he came and listened to the Wazees. And he wrote it exactly the way the Wazees told him. So, it is a book I really recommend. We know the others, is Kamunchuru, Engineer Kiruke, Alfred Manyara. Actually, Kimeru has been written by engineers, by people who never even studied history. So we want to challenge those who have studied political science and history to write more. the engineers cannot beat you, and they are the ones who didn't train that subject. So that's what we are doing regarding Kimeru history. 2, we are collaborating with the other institutions, the religious organizations, during Cheke and the others, because this knowledge is scattered all over. Regarding Kimeru culture, we are going to invite you for another function, just to enjoy yourselves. Singing Kimeru cultural songs, and also learning how to dance Kimeru in a proper way. We want people to be able to, the young girls to dance Maturu, the Wazes, Nkiro, Kajo, all those things which were being danced in Meru the way they were. There's this gentleman from Pori, will bring him to teach you how to dance those things. We have tried before, and people really enjoyed the cultural day we had here when we were launching the institute. So we are recording all those old Kimeru songs because they are likely to disappear, so that you can preserve them for future Kimeru generations. Regarding Kimeru language, I think this is one of the biggest challenges, because all of us have children and grandchildren in Nairobi, elsewhere, abroad, and people have Meru names, but they are not Merus. You are called in Kirote or something, but you greet her in Kimeru, she is not even able to respond. Keeps quiet, or just replies in English or Kiswahili. I'm talking for too long, but let me say this. There was a story about Obama and his grandmother. So when he came to trace his roots in Kogero, Obama was being assisted by his sister how to speak to his grandmother. She was the interpreter. He would speak in English, then she is told in the Luo what he is saying. So I don't know where this sister went. So Obama was left with his grandmother, the two of them. Then, of course, they tried to talk. Then finally they just looked at each other. And when the sister came, the grandmother asked the sister, "Why are you saying this boy is bright? He is so foolish." Even his father knew greetings, and when I talked to him, he understood. This one, hakuna kitu, he doesn't understand anything. So I think the grandmothers you bring from Meru might be thinking the same about your children. Yes. So I think we are being challenged. Although our children have to learn English because it's an international language, it is very embarrassing when a mzee comes, like into a lady comes here. Mnakaa na yeye, we are celebrating him because the grandfather, the husband of so and so has come, but the wife cannot greet this husband who has come. So we have decided as Kimeru Institute to introduce Kimeru for English learners, and we are in an advanced stage of introducing online courses in Kimeru. We'll be appealing to you to register your children, and there are even people who are married in Meru, Ruos, Luyas, watu wengine, even Kisis, who might want to know some basic Kimeru for greeting their in-laws. Or people have come to work to Meru, they are struggling to greet people, Daktari is there, want to talk patients. So there's a need, there's a gap, which we need to fill, and we have said we are going to go online because Kalenjin is being taught online, Kikuyu is being taught online. Why can't we in Meru also teach online? As governor, one of my most greatest disappointments was when I would go to deep villages in Tigania, Igembe, those areas. And when I arrive with Akina Keuda, my entourage, the Rendes come out to welcome us, singing to us in Kikuyu songs. Welcome, sitting down. And we have so many Kimeru songs which they can. And then we have, sorry to say, some religious sects. The Catholics and the Methodists are trying, we congratulate them. But the others, they talk to us in Kimeru when it comes to prayers, they say, Reketo. So I was there trying to convince them that God even understands Kimeru because he put us there for a reason and gave us a language. So I think there's a gap. We can never be confident as a people if we are speaking borrowed languages. People accuse me of speaking Kimeru English. I say, yes, what other one should I speak? Yeah? The Italians speak Italian English, Germans their own English. So why should I speak any other English other than the Kimeru English? So I say they are confused, they are lost. So those who are laughing at me, they are deficient. They need to be examined. Totally destroyed. So sitaki kuongea sana. Huyu mzee Ntwarethi is my personal friend. We come a long way with him. He asked me to write a preface to that book. You can read the preface, that is what I have to say about the book. But we come a long way because he was circumcised the same day with my mother. And they come from the same village. I know people don't talk about circumcision of women. It was no more in those days. These days, of course, the society has moved on. But when they meet, they used to come to my house and they speak together the whole afternoon, about the circumcision both of men and women those days. They were not shy about it. So they had that relationship because they came from the same village, they were circumcised the same day. And then my father got married to my mother, but immediately they got married, they ran away and went to a forest. And they were there for 4 years during the struggle for Mau. So there was another now big stories to share about what happened. Because, sorry to say, some of the Mau came out to find their wives administered by askaris, by the home guards. They lost their land, something like that. These ones were lucky. They found their wives still around. In fact, my mother had been told her husband had died. There was one of the APs who wanted to marry her. So he cheated her that my father was dead. And my mother said, when they bring the corpse, that is when she's going to believe. So fortunately, he came back alive, and she continued being his wife. So these people went through a lot of struggle. And this is what is written in this book. So I urge you to read the book, to write the book, and take more interest in your own culture, in the Kimeru culture, just as you're embracing others. So sorry, siku hizi sina watu wa kuongea now. Give me a mic, I can talk to you the whole day because now I don't have crowds to talk to. So you forgive me for talking too much. MC, do I invite somebody? Yeah. All right. Then clap for me, then I can go and sit down. Asanteni, Mungu awabariki.
Kwanza ngavana uruzi ngavana. Makofi moja. Biri. Kiraitu. Wandanieli. Karibu.
Sing a song.
So we've heard and we are happy, and since other people are being recognized by their friends, allow me also to recognize my classmates. Mwalimu Joseph, can you ask my mwalimu for that? He was recognized, but this is my classmate. When he sits down, I start. Why you sit there now? When he sits down, then I start. Apigwa makofi afadhali. We other people who are in the school, Engineer Kinywa Mogera afadhali kusimama. Apigwa makofi afadhali. Tuko na government printer hapa. Alikuwa recently karibu PS wa health. Na ngino Nkirote, uko wapi Nkirote? Apiga makofi kitongaru karia. And a few other people recognize I saw and go, but even before I go on, where's Professor Kagendo? Apigwa makofi kwa agenda. Apigwa makofi afadhali. We are doing well in that area. So with those many interruptions, allow me to welcome John Gitonga Ntwaridi. John is known for having sold all the government Land Rovers, all the Mercedes-Benzes to the government, all the government military trucks. If you talk of Gitonga of DT Dobi is no more than Ntwaridi himself. Apigwa makofi afadhali. He is a graduate of ISU, and he is also a serious business person, and much more among the first serious tea farmers in Meru. He will let you know more about himself. He's also a father of a pilot. Apigwa makofi.
Thank you, Sami. Our guest of honor today, Professor Kaimenyi, na pia mzee ambaye ametuleta hapa leo, my father, mzee Faustino Ntwaridi, Mheshimiwa Kiraito, waheshimiwa wote walio hapa leo, na wageni wetu wa familia ya Ntwaridi. God is good. All the time. Thank you so much. I'm here now to give you a small perspective from the family point of view. I'll not be long, but because the highlight of this day is a speech from Mzee and our guest of honor. So for me, it's just to introduce our father to those of you who do not know him, because I can see we have many friends of our family. Some of you have not met Mzee, but the majority here are my friends. At some stage, you have met him during these many years we have lived together as friends and family. So I'll try with my Kimeru English to introduce my father very briefly, talk about things I have learned for the last 67 years. It's a very long time. So the things you find in that book, this is a story my family has learned all our lives. Those who are in their 40s, those who are in their 50s, and those of us who are now in our 60s. We know the details of this book to the letter. So my father, it's difficult to know exactly the year he was born, but going by what happened in those days, we believe he was born around 1928, somewhere in the lower Abogeta, currently called Yororo. But in 1937, they migrated to the current location where we live today. That is Nyagi village of Abogeta West in Meru County. My father lost his parents very early in life. The reason for migrating from their original place of birth was because his mother had died. And she had died when his younger sister was only 2 days old. As for the customs and culture of those days, they believed my grandmother was poisoned. Therefore, the family members who are already in the upper region of the area, they decided to come and correct them and went to Nyagi village in 1937. But then, unfortunately, the year later, 1938, his father also died. So my father was orphaned at the young age of 10 years. Therefore, for him it was a struggle. It has been a struggle from day one up to this current day. He's still struggling. Later, he's struggling with ill wealth. You can see today he's in a four-wheeler. This happened a year ago when he fell and fractured his hip bone, and therefore he's not able to walk anymore freely. Therefore, the struggle continues. Mzee was living normal life of the Meru society those days, Queen Angole and those things. But in 1944, specifically on the 5th of January 1944, he discovered the church. And he decided to run away from those traditional dances and went to listen to what was happening in the church. And therefore, in 1946, he was baptized. And actually, the story Mheshimiwa Kiraito has told just now, that is the year they were circumcised. So he studied through difficult moments because he lived with people who are not his parents, and he went to class 6. At that point in those days, he could advance to intermediate, but my father could not afford that. Therefore, the missionaries those days decided to give him a teaching job as a teacher in the school, and also a catechist in the church. So in 1950, he started a school in a place called Ngongo as the only school teacher. And by 1953, he was teaching in our local primary school, Katuli Primary School. It is at that moment that the Mau Mau emergency was declared, and Mzee, you read in the book, I don't want to preempt, but nafikiria walienda kuona Kimathi in quotes, that Kimathi was in the village one evening and they want to see Kimathi, Ndendan Kimathi. There was no Kimathi. These guys took the oath and there is no way they would have lived among the society anymore. So a few days later, my father, the only school teacher in Katuli Primary School, got the signal from the Mau Mau and he had to depart. Some of his students are still living, like one of our relatives, Thomas Kidenji. They were students at that time. And the only teacher, around 10 o'clock, left the school and disappeared. They have no idea where their teacher had gone, but Mzee joined the Mau Mau freedom fighters. Of course, the school was closed down and burnt down. There was no school thereafter. They, together with other freedom fighters, were in the forest from 1953. He actually joined, is properly recorded. They joined and went to the forest on the 10th of September 1953. And they came out, they came home January 1958. Those are 5 extremely difficult years. You will read in the book. So once Mzee came out of the forest, like Mheshimiwa Kiraito said, when my father and his father went to the forest, because they went the same day, Kiraito was born. This man, his father left a wife. My father not married. He had a girlfriend. And it was a struggle. You have heard the story. For my father, it was even more serious because a girlfriend can be taken any time. But my grandmother, may her soul rest in peace, decided that nobody will marry a daughter unless, in those days, if you died in the forest, the only way they could prove you have died is by sending home your forehand cut. So my grandmother said, mpaka aone hiyo mkono ya baba yangu, hawezi peana mchana yake kwa mtu yeyote yule. So, maybe I would have been known earlier or somebody else, but I was born when they came out. Even Mheshimiwa Kiraito, his sister who follows him is my age. So for 5 years, nothing happened. You are virenji yetu. So you appreciate, we do appreciate as a family. So my father got married in a wedding on the 24th of May 1958. Big ceremony. And those of you who are here, you remember in 2008, we celebrated 50 years with a big ceremony. which meant our father, our parents then live a little more years, and my father is still around. My mom has since passed on in the year 2020. So out of this wedding, we are 9 children, 6 of which we survive, and the 3 of us have already departed for the heavenly safari. So we have gone through these motions of this book over the years, and therefore, if you read this book and you happen to meet me, if you don't understand anything, I'll give you all the details. So today, the story that we have learned, we have gone through for me, the last 6 to 7 years, we are adding it over to the world. My father will perhaps from today become a wound person, because he will be survived by this book many years to come. So without talking much about this book, I know my father has lived since Mau Mau, the last many years, 67 years. He has done many things. He was the first person to engage in tea farming in our village, and he has educated all his children. Because you can see, right from the word go, Mzee really education was key to him. And I believe if he had the money to proceed in school at Nkobo Intermediate, I think today we will be talking of a professor sitting among us, perhaps having written many, many, many books. So we congratulate him for what he has done. And as a family, we owe it to all of you, those who are able to help Mzee in his pursuit to write this book. Mzee was a catechist for almost 40 years, and he is a friend of the church. With us, because even when he's in Arabia, he looks for priests wherever the parishes where his children attend Mass. And amongst us here, to prove that that's the life Mzee lives, we have, I think, 4 priests. I'll start with Father Peter, who gave us the opening prayer. Where are you, Father? Father Peter is from Kisii, but this is our last born in our family. He's part of our family. We have Father Henry, who gave us the reflection. These are fathers from Don Bosco. Of course, we have fathers from our local church in Meru, the Hobrites. I start with Father Gideon, who the Mzee is his godfather. He comes from our village. Gideon works in Kisajo in Kajiado County. We have Father Jenny Conran. That's a Meru from Australia. He worked in our parish for many years, but now he's an administrator at their current house. Any other father I've left? Is Father Consta here? Father? Sorry. We have another father here, Father Dionysius from Kanyakine, but he is also a missionary working, is it Nakuru? Now he is in Meru. Karibu sana, Father Dionisio. So you can see a number of priests who have come here to grace this occasion. So without much ado now, I want very quickly to introduce members or children of this Mzee. I think it will be unfair if you live here without knowing who they are. That marriage of 24th May 1958, the issues of that marriage. And I'll start with the way we came. I start with myself, John Gitonga Alevi, and my family. Come here, please, quickly. Mwangalie pande ile. Wanapangwa vile pia walikuja. Yeah, on my extreme left is my wife, Paula Gitonga. Pigieni makofi. Next is our firstborn son, Eric Gitonga, working for Global Destinations. Pigieni makofi. And his wife, Purity, Purity McKenna. Next is Captain Joseph Gitonga, working for Kenya Airways. And lastly, Mary Angela Kendi, a final year student at USIU. PM Kof. So you can stand and sign there. Next, are there any children of my late brother Joseph Kaburu Arid? Quickly, please. Yes, the brother who follows me passed on 4 years ago, and he is represented him by son Victor Muriuki, working for Telecom. Son Sana Muriuki. Next is my sister Charity. Is there anybody here from Julia's family, our third born? I don't think there is. Next is Charity. Yegoki Arithi with our team, please, very quickly, in the interest of time. Good. Yeah, this is my sister Charity and our daughter Margarita Adhiambu. Oh, yeah, I didn't see. Yes. Of course, before Margarita, there was Eliphas Keynote with his wife Nancy. Pigieni makofi. Karibuni sana. After Charity was our sister Jane Kalemi died at infancy. Then next is Anne Kenanu. Usiende mbali, mtapigwa picha sahi. Are you on your own? Yeah, mpigieni makofi. Anne Kenanu. She worked for many years at Nation Media as finance manager. Now she's a counselor, a former accountant, she tells me. And next is Eunice McKenna. Before Eunice McKenna, we have my brother James Kunda Arethi, who is a Canadian citizen and could not be here today. But we have a relative from Canada here representing him. This is Spencer Karu. It's a nephew. Nephew? It's a nephew of James. This is a nephew of his wife in Canada. Karibu sana Spencer. Thank you so much. We have Eunice McKenna. You're also on your own. Yes, this is Eunice McKenna, who works for Cooperative Bank of Kenya. Last but not least, where is my sister Stella? So in front of you, you have the firstborn and the lastborn. This is the lastborn, this is the firstborn. Stella Arethi Mwema, married in Ukamban, and that is Patrick Hiro Mwema, her husband, working for Standard Bank, and Stella is a senior manager at Safaricom. So simameni hapa wote. Of course, there are many other children, some are in school, but these are the hand-ons who are working that came to grace Mzee's occasion. So that is the family that was produced, the outcome of that marriage in 1958. You can see what has happened over the years. Asante sana, may you have your seats. Asante. Eh? Can you see me? Of course, in our midst, we have the caregiver to Mzee, Mugendi Nju. This young man you see here, ndio anaishi na Mzee 24 hours, 24/7, si ndio? 30 days, 1 year, all the time. Asante sana Mugendi. Thank you so much. Mugendi comes from Tharaka. So now, without much ado, I don't know, Sammy, if I'm the one to invite the author. So thank you so much for finding time to come. We really appreciate, and we thank you for coming to grace Mzee's book. Asanteni sana, and may God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Let's appreciate John Gitonga Aredi, alias Waspora. Thank you very much, John. Now, Aredi is coming to speak to you himself. And I guess you will speak from here, so from where he is. But then I'm told he is not going to be asked to stand by anybody else other than former Governor Kiraitu Murungi and the chairman of NOC. So, Governor Kiraitu, tukaribisha Aredi, alafu kuna timu itamuimbia ukimaliza.
Stand up. Nade tutakaribisha mzee kwa Kimeru. Na muntu kainagirwa atingagirwa mpi. So and ukanene muno miru kweta wandu. Ndo mbitira nene. So you are a big person. Yeah, so I'll teach you a small song. Remember Rwando, we welcome him with him. So, and it's very easy. You just follow me. So that you can just repeat. Tuarevi nendo, nendo. Can you? Tuarevi nendo, and tuarevi. Yeah, when I sing tuarevi, you say nendo. Sidio? Tuarevi nendo, nendo, tuarevi nendo, nendo. Are we together? Tuarevi nendo, nendo, tuarevi nendo, tuarevi nendo, nendo. You sing. Tuarevi nendo, tuarevi nendo, tuarevi nendo, ntuarevi nendo, ntuarevi sasa pigeni makofi. See you as you sing. Ntuarevi 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 nendo. Asanteni sana. Kando nande tuarelie. Okay. Tonga.
Yes. Haya, tuimbie mzee mpaka afike kwa kiti sasa. Weta mto kinyomo karande monkarera mzee agakinyete nekera. Makofi mazuri mpaka mzee afike.
Okay. Mzee amesema yeye ni mwalimu, hawezi kuongea kama ameketi. Kwa hivyo ataongea kama amesimama.
Haya. Nande mbire bakiwa wabo kwenda kumenya Kimeru. Ni mara ya Kimeru na nkali ya echongo. Eyoku yandiki na echongo na yandiki ntwalithi.
Okay, there are some young people who want to sing for him. Can you come over, please? Put in the song.
Nyinyi wengine ni babu na wengine ni watoto wangu. Njamboni. Sasa nataka kumwambia hivi. Kitonga amemwandithia hadithi yote. Lakini mimi nitamwandithia kidogo tu. Kwa sababu siendi kuongea na Kimeru, naongea na Kiswahili kwa kuwa kuna wengine wanasikia. Mimi nilizaliwa huko Kanyakine kunaitwa Yoruru. Ni 1928. Hata kitabu kinaandikwa hivyo. Na kutoka huko Yoruru 1927 nikaenda Nyagi. 28 baba akaambiwa bana kaa hapa, watoto wataaso peke yao. Na nikiwa tukitoka huko kwa Nyakine, Chia ndio alikufa mbele. Alipata katoto kala kidogo kuliko mimi. Akakaa nako siku moja, siku ya pili akaaga. Katoto akaachwa hapo wakilia. Ye baba akaambiwa na wazee wengine tuba pamoja na mama. Baba akakataa. Akasema nitatuba, wakati huo kataaga. Akaambia wewe, kulikuwa na kwa hatari sana ya Kimeru ya rukuo. Naitwa rukuo, utapata mkuijire na uwezi kutoa hiyo mbili ya mtoto na ya mtu mkubwa. Akasema bana, tukakaa na mtoto wetu, alikuwa akilewa na mchichano ya mzee kuliko mimi. Tulikuwa tumejaliwa watoto watatu na tuliacho watoto watatu. Huyu mzee kuliko mimi naye alizaliwa 1922. Na huyu Twalethi anaitwa Keremi. Si Twalethi. Wakati nilikuwa nikiitwa Keremi. Twalethi naitwa mwaka huo wa kutairiwa ule mliambiwa na Itonga. Hata Kiraitu alimwambia tulitairiwa na mama yake. Mama yake ni wa rika letu. Tulikuwa tukisanga. Hata ndani aliyakija kuchukua hiyo mchichana. Tulikuwa naye. Na tukampatia ruhusa chukua tu. Hiyo mchichana ni kama sisi. Kile alikuwa anatoka, Danieli anatoka kwa jeshi, wakakutana na ndugu ya msichana, naye alikuwa ametoka kwa jeshi, wakapeana msichana akaenda tukaasho. Sisi tukiwa hapo tunakaa na wasichana wengine na nini, na mnajua zamani si kama sasa. Msichana mkitahiriwa naye huwezi kumuoa na huwezi kumuongeleza hata nini. Tulikuwa watakatifu hapo. Tulikuwa tukiitana ndugu yangu, ndanda yangu, akitaka mambo namwambia chukua. Siwezi kumunyima kwa kuwa tumewekwa alama tukiwa pamoja. Ngoja nimwambie vile na mwambia na njia Bobi. Wakati huu nilitahiriwa, kulikuwa na taafu. Niliona taafu, na mkisoma kitabu hapa mwanzo, hiyo story mtapata yote ya taafu ile niliona. Nilikuwa sina baba, sina mama, lakini huyu mzee tuliasa naye alikuwa akinikataa kabisa nitahiriwe. Akapeleka wake, nami nikawafuata. Ngoja hii nimchekeshe. Tulikuwa tunagombana kwa sababu ya uganga wa Kimeru. Mimi nikakataa, kwa kuwa nimeenda kanisani. Kaniambia, wewe utahiriwe, utaachwa ukichunga ng'ombe. Nikamwambia ndio. Nikaambia mbele ufanyiwa uganga. Nikamuuliza bana. Asubuhi wengine wakiwa wanatahiriwa kesho, nikaenda kwa yoyo wangu, alikuwa mganga. Nikamwambia, wewe ganga mimi, na enda umwambie umeganga mimi, na ni wao natumia. Mzee akaniambia, unajua mtu wa chama hawezi kusema uongo, mpaka uchukue hii hiyo mguu wa mbuzi. Ndio alikuwa ukifanywa hivi akaniambia utume mara 4, hilo unajua. Akileta hivi na vindua kisho ili asiweke kanywa yangu. Nikasema nimegangwa. Akaenda akasema, kwa nini mumetuma mtoto kuwangwa peke yake? Ningemuroga, mungejua ni nani anamuroga. Akapiga kelele hapo nyumbani mpaka asubuhi. Nikafuata vijana, nikaenda nikatahiriwa. Mimi sina nyumba, sina mtu wa kukaa naye, sina hata nini. Na hiyo kijana, hiyo mzee hataki niende kwa pamoja na kijana wake. Hiyo taabu ya kwanza. Na hiyo kuna taabu mingi, si mtaona kwa kitabu yangu niliandika. Hiyo story ndio niliandika mbele ya kuandika story ya Maumau. Na Maumau iko katikati. Na mwisho kuna story ya kwenda India, kwenda Kanada. Hiyo mtakuta huko mbele. Lakini ile iko, nataka mjue ni hii ya Maumau. Ni kwa nini niliandika? Unaniuliza hivyo. Hata mkiwa amuniulizi, najua mnauliza hivyo. Mimi niliandika hiyo kitabu kwa sababu ya watoto wenu, ili wajue msitu ni nini, watu walienda msituni wakafanya nini, walipigana na wachungu na nini, na wana hakuna mijinga, hakuna nini, walikuwa wakipigana namna gani. Naandikanga huko kidogo, lakini nitaendelea kuandika. Mkichukua hii tutaendelea, na kuna ingine inaendelea kuandikwa, inaendelea kuandikwa. Mwilali yako hapa, mwilali pando kuja, haya. Huyu ni kuka wangu, ananisaidia kuandika. Kuna ingine tunaandika na hata na hiyo inaongea juu ya wasichana na vijana, bila walikuwa wakikaa chamani. Unasema Kimeru kifundishwe, sisi tunafundisha Kimeru tukiwa na Mwiralia. Mwiralia anafundisha Kitigania nami Kimenti, lakini ikishuka tutaenda kuchukua maneno yao huko tuweke katika hiyo kitabu. Ukisoma ujue, lakini nitapatia Mwiralia kidogo sema vile tunaandika.
Thank you very much. Tutaendelea kuandika hicho kitabu na kiko, it's about our cultures, about how girls and boys related until you get married and until you start a family. Sawa?
Mnasikia? Hata hiyo itafundisha kama Kimeru, kila mnataka kifundishwe. Ukisoma utajua wasichana walikuwa namna gani, vijana walikuwa namna gani. Mnajua wakati hiyo wasichana na vijana hawatiani mimba. Tulikuwa na desturi iko mbali sana, na mtu angeona ni mtu wa ndugu yake ama wa familia yake, hawezi kuongea na hiyo msichana. Si kama sasa tunataka hiyo kitabu kinataka kupukuza hiyo maneno inafanywa siku hizi. Wao wasome, waone kila wanaume na wanawake walikuwa wakikaa, wa ndugu moja, wa familia moja, walikuwa hata wakienda kuimba wimbo mahali fulani, wasichana wanakaa tayari kukiwa kuna pigano, hata wasichana wataingia kupigana, kwa kuwa wanaenda wakiwa namna moja, si namna mbili. Na si kutukana, na si kumwambia wewe mwanamke toka hapa, pana. Nyinyi mnakaa pamoja. Haya, mimi baba yangu kuisha kuaga, niliona taabu ya masomo. Hiyo masomo ndio linanitabisha. Mnasikia kitoka akimwambia 1944 ndio Mungu aliniita. Nikatoka katika wimbo tulikuwa tukiita nguli, ulikuwa wimbo wa vijana wasiotahiriwa. Tulikuwa tukiimba sana. Hata mimi nilikuwa kivalia tu ya kuimba. Nikawasha wasichana wale tulikuwa tukiimba nao, na vijana wale tulikuwa tukienda nao, nikaenda kanisani. Wakanitafuta wiki yote. Siku moja wakaniona, "Kireni ulitutuba, mlienda wapi?" Kawaambia, "Ngojeni nitamwonyesha." Kwa njia mvuvi wote walinifuata kanisani mpaka tukaletewa mwalimu. Tukaletewa mwalimu wa kutusomeza. Tulikuwa tukisoma mbi, A, B. Mbi ndio standard 2. A ni 1. Lakini kutoka hapo mbi ukaenda standard 1. Standard 1 ndio standard 3 siku hizi. Tukasoma kupelekwa mbi. Mtihani ukitoka, nikatoka nikiwa number 1. Siongozi wale tena. Nikaenda mbele. Tukaenda tukasoma na mbi. Tukifanya mtihani, mimi naenda number 2, tukaenda standard 1. Hapo standard 1 ndio matairisi ilifika. Mzee akataka kutairiza kijana wake, mimi akanitupa. Nikalea wakati huo ndio nilikuwa nikienda kwa mganga mimi mwenyewe. Nikamkanganya tu, nikamwambia ngoja uende useme umeniganga. Na hiyo ngoja nimwambieni kile niliandikia kitabu. Tuliambiana tuandike kitabu tukiwa mama wengi. Lakini hakikufaulu. Wanaandika, watu wakafanya mbaya, wale wanaongoza wakaaga kama Mwaliama. Mwaliama aliuawa na nyoka. Kumuuma tu kwa kuwa bila aliambiwa afanye aongoze watu wake, alikataa. Ungekuwa umefanya mbaya ukiwa unaongoza Mau, wewe utaaga. Na kila mtu anakuaga. Utapatwa na ugonjwa, utakufa. Haya. Hata Zakaria ndio alikuwa wa mbele kuandika kitabu. Akausa ndani mbele ya kitoke na Zakaria akaaga. Hiyo nikikaa nikaona nitaandika peke yangu. Kaambia Kamundi twende tukaandika, akakataa. Nikasema nitaandika peke yangu. Bahati yangu niko na kitabu nilikuwa nayo msituni kuandika mambo yote, kila kitu. Ndio kananisaidia sana. Hata sasa kako nyumbani na muhuri wa Mau. Lakini nilikuwa nikitaka kupiga vitabu hivi vilikuja hapa, nikaona hapana, muhuri uko ndani huko, mtaona muhuri. Unaona sasa, ukiendelea tutaendelea na kuandika ingine na ingine, unasikia tuda ingine tofauti nayo itatoka. Sivyo vijana kuka wangu, unasikia mkisoma, si kisomo kinaendelea na kufanya kazi katika nchi, ni akili yako na kuomba Mungu. Mungu atakusaidia kila wakati wa mtihani ni kuomba, wakati wa kwenda chabali ni kuomba, na Mungu atakupatia kila chote unataka. Mimi niliomba Mungu wiki moja, nikamwambia nionyeshe njia ya kuandika kitabu ya Mau. Akanionyesha, nikaandika. Na hata hiyo ingine tunasemeshana na hiyo kijana, unaona tunaitana ujuju, tunaandika, tunamaliza. Sasa nyinyi kaeni mkijua Mungu ako katikati ka Wameru na Wakikuyu na Waembu. Kwa nini? kuna mlima tunaita mlima. Mnajua mlima hiyo ina namna gani? Watu wale wanajua mlima ni nini, ni wa Maumau. Chinyinyi huyo unafuata njia. Ukipanda mlima huyo utaona mambo. Utaona mambo. Kutoka hapa kwenda mpaka pale ni saa moja. Uwezi kwenda uwezi. Unakanyanga chini. Kidogo uwezi kwenda. Na ukiwa uendi na maombi, uwezi kwenda hiyo mlima. Hii mlima ni wetu, Kikuyu, Embu na Meru. Hakuna mwingine anaweza kuingia huko siwakuwa Mgikuyu ama Mmeru kama Mwembu. Wengine wajui bila watu wanaingia katika mlima, lakini sisi tunajua. Na mimi nitaambia vijana hawa wanasoma bila mlima unaingiwa, watakuja waniulize nimwambie, ama niambie mwalimu wao awafundishe. Ile mlima inaingiwa. Mlima ni wetu, watu 3, Kikuyu, Embu na Meru. Hakuna wengine. Sawa. Nande ngathiri ya Kimeru. Ndio bokeba buge nyuno na muntu na bwale mboka onge bokera buge nyumo. Njuno ni mtoto ile twaragia kinya mtonge arawa atemenya watawa na tokwerana kwa nge kwera kirimage kwere ne ko mamira ne kiraja ukawa atia ne mbiu ndauga. Lakini ukiwa Mumeru unajua kila kiadhokia kilima kila ikwe no kaina kameni. Sasa fungueni kitabu, mununue, kila mtu ajue hadithi yoyote na andika huko ndani. Asante wale walifanya tukutane hapa, na wale wenye shule wako university ya Kemu hapa Nairobi. Hata Meru iko na hata hiyo ya Meru naenda. Asante, wanafanya vizuri. Kuna university nyingine mbele hapa na hapana iwezi kutuita, lakini nyinyi mnatuita kwa kuwa mnajua Kimeru. Asante.
Twarethi aringorerwo Kemi nekro barabari huko. 1 2 Tatu. Ine. Siambaka yantulilia adharimwe makofi. Now we want to introduce the chief guest and a bit of disclosure before he comes. Oh, no, baba kwa njuri. Kwa if you find me exceeding kidogo, nitamewe. Akolo wanjuri balai baronga membere. Wale wase wanjuri ncheka wako wapi? I want to disclose a secret here. Njuri is not a secret, is not a secret society. But Njuri has got secrets. Sidio? Njuri iko na nini? Njuri is not a secret society, but it's got secrets. Njuri ni ekolie. Now, let me introduce Professor Kaimenyi. Professor, you come, then I can say a few things about you. I've done a bit of disclosure. Professor Kaimenyi is again household name. It's not new to us, but I will say a few things because they're important for those who are here. But I will not say everything because you need to talk to him, read his books. He's an author of about 6 books. And Professor is inaugurated Professor of Pediatrology from the University of Nairobi. Basically, if you don't understand that, Greek is a dental expert and he preaches, teaches, professes dental science, dental management, dental healing, that. Number 2, he's under various public appointments and responsibilities. Among them, he's been the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. He's been the President of the Commonwealth Dental Association. He's been Cabinet Secretary in 2 ministries, Ministry of Science and Technology, Education, Science and Technology, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Fiscal Planning and Public Works. He's been a Kenyan ambassador to the Kingdom of Belgium and Luxembourg, and the Kenyan representative to the European Union and the African, Caribbean, and the Pacific. That's about 117 countries under him. He's been the chairman of Amero's Senior Public Servants Forum. He's been chairman of Amero Professionals. Currently, he's a principal Mogwe. Apigwa makofi. That's a special thing we need to understand. Not just an only key person. In other parts of the community, he's actually a king. So it made me want to talk to him, His Excellency, or His Highness, whichever you want to say. But he's an ambassador. Don't mix the titles. He's a chief scout, the chairman of chief scout and chairman of the Kenya Scouts Council. He is the patron of the Environmental Action Alliance, East Africa. He's a trustee of Amero Professionals Association. He's the chairman of trustees of Amero Sports Club. And he is the lucky husband of Stella Kaimenyi and a father of wonderful children. He will tell you a few more, but most important, he's also the chairman of Association of Ameru Cultural Support Association, ASRA. So by that, let's keep standing and welcome Professor Kaimenyi to give us a few words of wisdom and guide us on the way forward.
Asante sana, be seated. Mzee Ntwarethi, and his family members, Honorable Kiraitu Muronge, members of the clergy in our midst, distinguished guests, and there are many. For want of time, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, not to mention them. Good evening to all of you. And the Kenyan style, can we greet each other in the air? Asante sana. It is indeed great to be requested by the family of Tuaredi via Honorable Kiraitu Muronge to be a guest of honor during the launch of Memoirs of a Freedom Fighter by Faustino Tuaredi Toreria. Aba Tuaredi mbetekeria mbaria na kimonimoni tonto wanware mwalimu na nware karani ndene iwande kaira minutes cia maumao o mbetekeria mbaria nibaga muno no ntwagwitekeria ba Tuaredi as your word iwega. Tuaredi is a father of my good friend John Gitonga and his dear wife. As you've heard, Tuaredi was born roughly 94 years ago. He might not know the exact date when he was born, because those of us who come from the rural areas, our parents never went to school, so we cannot tell you the precise dates. Before I go too far, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you of what a memoir is. It is simply a collection of memories written by the person themselves. An account written by a public figure of their life and experience. And for sure, Tuaredi, from what you have heard, is a public figure. And what are the reasons, although you might have heard this in brief, what are the reasons behind writing memoirs? One, there are about 5 of them, but because of time, I'll read a few of them. It helps you to identify threats and themes in your life and make sense of what you have lived. The other very good reason, it contributes to recorded history and one's legacy to the family, friends, and the world. We aren't that alone. It's not enough to have lived, but it's important to leave a legacy so that many years later, when you have been put 6 feet under, we can remember you for the good things you left for posterity. And the other thing which is very important, memoirs connect. If you write one, it connects you with others who have experienced the same or similar situations, providing encouragement, comfort, and inspiration. Because sometimes you think you're the only one. You are alone in a journey, that your experiences are unique or special. Or you have done things which are not proper, only to realize from others that you are just like them. Tuaredi memoirs comprise of 4 parts, and each part has several chapters. Part 1 has 12 chapters. Don't think I'll read them. I'll summarize. No. Part 3 has 9 chapters, part 2 has 14 chapters, part 3, 9 chapters, and part 4, the last part, has 7 chapters. As you read these memoirs, what comes to your mind? And the obvious thing that comes to the mind of each one of us is the life of a freedom fighter. How was it? Was it different from an ordinary citizen that time, as well as the modern day world? Because we have fighters all over, including Gaza. Things are happening there and other parts of the world. These pertinent questions are heavily answered in the 42 chapters which I've alluded to or laid. The other $6 million question, which is likely to crop in the minds, in the gray matter of each one of us. Now that you know the age of this Mosaic, for the many years he has lived in this world, this planet Earth, how has his life been? He has reminded you when he gave you his keynote speech or address that it was a life of struggle. And I can tell you, if you read the book, you come to know that. His childhood, adulthood, and even his retirement as we talk, are they different from others that you know? Has he experienced unique challenges? In this journey, what invaluable life's lessons can we learn from this great man as he dared to take the liberty to advise diverse age groups in Kenya and beyond? Because in our audience, we have students, we have young people na wazee ambao wamekomaa. Hata mimi nimekomaa kwa sababu I'm above 70 years, bwana Kinywa, niko karibu na wewe, siko mbali sana. So having gone through the 42 chapters of these memoirs, I can tell you unequivocally that these questions which I've raised here have been heavily answered. They have been answered, that I can tell you. For want of time, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, just to summarize kionjo yani, the key life's lessons that we can learn from the memoirs of Ntuaridi, with a special emphasis on the life of a freedom fighter. If you read this book carefully, it will undoubtedly make you find or learn the following. One, why Amero custom requires that a man marries a younger woman for a wife. Kirimi. It's guaranteed that the man made mature decisions on all matters pertaining to family. Hiyo ni kweli ama ni uongo? Lazima kuwe na mtu ambaye ana experience kuliko mwingine. But we don't do this these days. We don't subscribe for unknown reasons to that belly. In those days, ladies and gentlemen, dead people were not buried, but were thrown away into the forest. When Tuaredi's wife died. It was very sad. He had to tie a rope around his neck. You can imagine. And take her to the forest. And what that meant, those days, I'm talking about Tuaredi's father, those days, his father, not Tuaredi himself. You can imagine, shortly after that, you hear noise from hyenas. Yes, devouring the body of your mother or father. That was not easy. Tuaredi, again, in that book he has told us, as per our customs, children were never named until 4 years later after you have been born. Why? This was to make sure that you are likely to survive. If a child was named after a person and the child died very early, no child would ever be named after that person again. Reason? This was because that person was associated with bad omen. That's why you are some of us who are given names of animals. Yes? Cavity. Because of that. Ameru customs, as you have heard, this book will really tell you so much about Ameru customs. For example, our customs require that a young man to take a new name after circumcision. A sign that one has become an adult and acquired a new status. I don't think, Brown, you know my name. After circumcision. Mi naitwa Ntomarete. Kaimenyi Jacob Tomarete Ontoduranira. And we should be proud of that, Creative Morongi. Those are the names that we have. But unfortunately, because of colonization, we have abandoned that culture, beautiful culture, which keeps on reminding us of our milestones, very critical in our lives. That's why, again, you know, our father was called Tuaredi, which means a huntsman, one who takes care of people. In this book, you get to know more about traditional circumcision of the Ameru, how it took place. When I cannot, this year. Utakumbuzwa hiyo maneno. Asante sana. Some of us would want to know how the traditional houses of the Ameru looks like. Together with the Kimeru Institute somewhere in Meru, we'll get a piece of land where we shall build all these prototype houses of the Ameru from those Tuntonyere, so that our young people can go there and see what used to happen that time. Tuaredi, you might wonder what was his boyhood chores or his work. His basic responsibility was hunting cattle. And when we were doing that, they would sing very nice songs about their parents and even praising their own cows. Those songs. And trapping birds. Yeah. Those are the things this Muzee used to do. In those days, every man, this was as I see here, we don't seem to walk with a walking stick. And this was a sign of leadership. And in the event, in the forest or somewhere, he would use that stick. When a wild animal, a snake, slithered unannounced from the grass. And if you attacked Kenyeji, you have something to defend yourself, isn't it? We should never shy away from carrying these tools. Indeed, we should fight so that they are protected in law. Already, in law. Again, what used to happen when somebody dies in one's home, I read you tell you in that book. If somebody died in your home, you are in the house where you are sleeping, you are not allowed to sleep in that house. They built a temporary house for you, and bodies were disposed of very fast, just the way the Muslims do. You'll find that in this book. How does it feel to lose one's parent? You have heard this gentleman was orphaned very early. And I remember reading something in that text. What John's grandfather told Ntuaredi. Listen to this. When he was about to die, my son, listen to me. I have people's debts. When I'm gone, pay them on my behalf. This is a toll and a commitment that one cannot afford to toy with. How about courtship amongst the Ameru in those days? You heard what Muzee said. Was it different? The answer is yes. Find out when we say kwanda kithege kane tumo mbere nyomba emwariro kwenda kura etumo renge gora gwitwau umenye mantu akuthuka ndio kejo kedre etumo iretere antu beto. It means you have been a even to suggest to you the girl should marry. And why not? Siku hizi, Gen Z, millennial, that is unthinkable. We want to tell you it is thinkable. Because we know our neighbors, our friends, and their children, the qualities they have, to the extent that if you took your parents' advice, you can't go wrong. And then what were the challenges? In that book you get to know, like Muzee said, the challenges of learning in those days may not necessarily different from today. But one of the things that was unique to this gentleman, he was denied. His own uncle did not want him to go to school way back in 1944. And he had to go and learn secretly without them knowing. Because hunting cattle was more important than elimu. Can you imagine? How difficult was it to such a job those days? Terrible. When Ntuaredi decided to be man enough after circumcision, because you are Mumeru, ukitairi, you must be independent. Managitonga, Kenywa, you must be independent. Not keep on wounding the aprons of your mother or your parents. No. So he chose to go all the way to Karatina, to Nyeri, looking for a job. Aunt's boy job. Can you imagine? And he survived. And joining the Mau Mau movement, I want to tell you something which is very historical. Kirai Tumuronge Wani was the cabinet secretary for justice and constitutional affairs, if you will. He is the first cabinet secretary, and this is historical, to declare Mau Mau movement legal. Before then, it was an illegal movement. So now we have the courage to speak about Mau Mau movement. Can you clap for them? I like it. Praising somebody when they are alive and even when they are here. He's a man of fasts. Even to have started Kimeru Institute is not something new. It's not something old. It's new. Apigiwe makofi. Kwani mmechoka? Don't be grand, mheshimiwa. Pigieni makofi. So joining Mau Mau movement was not a walk in the park, because it meant killing your brother, your sister, for the sake of freedom. And it meant rescuing, being arrested by colonialists, and what awaited you thereafter was not a joke. The other thing this book will tell you, villages and schools were suspected to be sympathetic to the colonial administration. They were completely burnt down. Kabisa. Cowardice was never tolerated amongst the Mau Mau. It's just like when you undergo circumcision amongst the Meru. Ndaketirira, nandaketikira. That is why here the Meru are courageous, and we are. That is our culture, and we are very proud of it. Discover in this book how Ntuaredi and others avoided being trapped in the forest by the colonialists. They learned how to walk backwards. They are going the opposite direction, they walk backwards so that nobody can track them. Or they wear some leaves so that as they walk, it is sweep, the leaves sweep. So that you are not noticed, cannot be trailed. In the forest, they had very strict rules. Let me tell you. For example, smoking was not allowed at all. And you might wonder why. It's to prevent smoke from attracting the enemy. And not only that, arousing the wild animals. And in the process, you can easily be attacked. What were the other rules you may want to know? And so many of them, about 7 or so in the book, but allow me to mention a few for the sake of brevity. So no soldier was allowed to argue with a superior. If you are commanded to do something, Tuaredi, unafanya. Ama ni aje? That was the case. For those assigned cooking duties, they were the only ones allowed in the kitchen. Hakuna mtu mwingine. And food was shared equally. The other thing, as I finish on those rules, soldiers were never to argue amongst themselves, particularly on their way to the battle, because that could have distracted the Marubit from their focus. There's something you also learn in this book. Despite lacking in proper weapons and skilled fighters like Mumbeveru, they sustained the war, principally through prayers and faith that one day they will win. When I say this, some of you may not believe it. Ask that Muse, Baba. They used to pray 4 times a day. 4 times. Talk of prayer and champions. and they were. That is not in dispute. I wish we can emulate Tuaregi and others who have gone before us. The food of Mau Mau in the forest was something that you know. Green maize, of course, sweet potatoes, yams. But fetching these foodstuffs was very risky. If you were caught by the colonialists, you will be sent to a detention camp. And I can tell you, life in the detention camp was something one would never wish to remember if you went there. In this book, you also hear about home guards. Kimeru ate them with passion. Please find out why in that book. And even as you read the book, you might be wondering what were the challenges of a freedom fighter in the forest. There are about 6 challenges. Again, I'll read a few of them so that you don't say this professor has professed for too long. I used to be paid for that. No apologies to make. Lakin, let me read a few of them. One is the threat of an attack from wild animals. Daily. The other one is a possibility of an ambush by an enemy. Surprise from unfriendly fire. That made them absolutely nights. And then attack by the lice. You remember they never used to shave their hair. Eh? The attack by lice was terrible. But then, and unfortunately, you are not allowed to shave. You know why? Because you will feel cold in the forest. And somehow, they thought it was a waste of time and unnecessary. Imagine. And then in this book, you read how Muse survived an attack by a buffalo and his own calf. Amazing. The man was between the two goji of the buffalo. But somehow he prayed. You know, this gentleman here, he was a catechist. He prayed. And at that moment, the buffalo left him. And today we have this gentleman. Can you clap for him, please? Prayer works. If you are doubting Thomas, it works. Life in the concentration camps was terrible. It was basically forced labor. To the extent that the colonialists would refer to our people as boys, which was extremely derogatory. How about the roles of each member of our society in those days, in our struggle to liberate ourselves from the colonialists? We had specific roles. It doesn't matter whether you are a young man, mzee kama mimi, women or boys, we had our own roles. Some of us, like young people and even ladies, acted as spies for our fighters. And sometimes we don't realize that or appreciate that women were involved in the fight to liberate our nation. There were so many, or quite a number of female fighters. So Mau Mau movement, unlike what our colonial masters wanted us to believe, was an devilish movement, evil. That is not true. It was a movement with good intentions, and women were involved in this struggle. It was not necessarily a man's affair. How about the experience of coming out of that forest? You heard about 1958. How was it? And I can tell you it was not easy. In the event that the colonialists decided to take you to a detention camp, it was a harrowing experience, because in the detention camps, the treatment was terribly inhuman. What used to happen if you are captured and detained away from your homes? You'll find that in this book. Every return, men were castrated. You can imagine how painful that was. Women were sexually assaulted using broken bottles. You find that in this book. Detainees. Talk of what was happening the other day in Nyayo House. Terrible. Was submerged in cold water for 2 to 3 days. Cold water. Very inhuman. So to revisit that lifestyle in this day and age in Kenya, it's very unfortunate. How about being released from the detention after you have been away from him like this gentleman to Aredi? Oh my goodness. One, and to start life afresh. And it was not easy. To build a new home after the earlier one was burned down was not easy. And then you want to till your land afresh. And then you want to marry a girl, a soul of your life, your soulmate, without any resources like you have had. It was tough. But Musa did very well. Again, apigwe makofi ya kilo. Asante sana mzee. After the independence, and you read Honor of Kratos forward, Mau Mau fighters were astonishingly left out of any benefit. They were promised land. They were promised all manner of things which were never to be. So please read the book. You'll find out how they were treated by the operatives of the day. The likes of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. The likes of the powerful Minister for Lands, Jackson Harvest Ngaine, Kavere and Tombijewe. How did they treat our Mau Mau fighters? And I can tell you they never treated them kindly. Contrary to what would one of all of us would have expected, truth be told. How was life of the freedom fighters themselves? Those who shed blood. As if it was not enough to deny them land. Even when I was the cabinet secretary for land, I remember telling my boss, my Munge and the others, being given public land. Because it's not something big to ask. These people shed blood for our motherland. Yet people who never shed blood, today they own chunks and chunks of land. Can you believe? Some people in this country own as many as 95,000 acres of land. It is ungodly. And I hope one day, sensitive as it is, we will address that question, land question, favorably, so that we don't feel as if we are aliens in our own motherland. Yet these are things we fought for with flesh and blood. That's the truth. Why don't you clap for me? We have many women who are courageous enough. Si kuogopa, be like it already. Be like him. Fight against injustice. And I'll mention that shortly. If you want to plug your ears when I say that, you plug them. But you have heard me, so they will not be like a stone, like Mwangare said. You say, utasema, kaiminya alisema. You think about it and do something about it. When Tuaredi left life in the forest, we have heard life was not that easy, but I like the way he has brought up his family. Didn't you see here? It's not very easy to educate, to get your children, get educated, even be willing to be married or marry. Oh. Mzee, you have done wonders. I'll give him a coffee, please. And my good brother Gitonga, you have not set a bad example. You know, when you're the oldest in the family, where went your Mzee Sasa? And you have set a wonderful example to others. And they will follow you. Example is contagious, as they say. Please, care for them. This Mzee, I am impressed. When he had been married for 50 years, he had his 50th wedding anniversary. Huh? How many of us do that? Tunaogopa. Maybe because of money, it's very expensive, I don't know. And he describes that 50th wedding anniversary as the mighty wedding. How mightier will yours be, and even mine when I reach 50 years. In the next 4 years, I'll be there. And if I invite you, Mwekro Gitonga, Eja Onenkina go. Did to already ever travel abroad? The answer is yes. Courtesy is wonderful, sons and daughters. How is its experience? It is just like yours and mine. I know you have traveled like me widely. In those places, it's really a world of contrasts. We have some of us going for benchmarking, spending millions of shillings, as you saw yesterday in our newspapers. Governors spending hundreds of millions to go abroad. And yet there's no value for that money. When they come back, there's nothing to show. Benchmarking for what? If we come back to our motherland, there must be a positive impact on that which we have learned there. Otherwise, we should, I'm not inciting you, we should take those people to court so that they can pay for this. That is the leaders we want in this country. Chapter 41, it talks of sickness and treatment in India. To read this chapter, utareretie mantu ya kwajua kwaria uma. Bio kwariria u nikirira kiro twendo twa gutwatha. Ture ana baku, ture atongeria na mero na anto bonde ba Kenya. So I'm saying, we say if you read that chapter 41, even though it speaks to sickness and treatment in India, it's basically a summary of his life and the nuggets of wisdom for all categories of people in this country you want us to know. And I want to describe that chapter as icing on the cake. I'm about to finish, don't worry. I'm just there. Yes, I'm just there. If you are feeling a little bit bored, pinch yourself. Yes, and breathe in. Breathe in, Chief Inspector of Schools. You know what you used to do. And Mwarim, you are so many teachers here. My goodness. If you read this book, you know what it means to live for 94 years in this world. That Mzee has seen it all. If you listen and take the pieces of advice to your heart and implement to them to the letter, you will never be the same again. That I can tell you. So my advice to you who are all here and to Kenyans in general, even though our reading culture is very weak, there are very good reasons why we should read books. Most of us just read newspapers. To read even a novel is a happy task. And yet, the advantages and reasons for reading books are fantastic, worth the effort. Some of us would rather buy a small plot of land somewhere in Kayore, Syokimau, other places, but never buy a book. I keep on telling Kenyans, take the liberty to buy a book per month. You will not become poorer but richer, that I can tell you. So what are these good reasons for reading books? They were the review of the book mentioned, but the risk of repeating maybe one or two, because I'm reliably informed. And we say it in Kimeru, when you repeat something, it's for the purpose of sharpening your memory. So I'll repeat for that purpose. One of the good reasons is mental stimulation. If you read books, you don't age that fast. That's why you see some professors at the age of 88, they're like this. And they're strong. Very strong because they engage their grey matter. So do the same. And then you expand your knowledge and vocabulary. It's amazing, my experience when I'm already. This year, nilikuwa huko juice and Gitonga and others. Kinaitwa Muronge. Your former constituency is amazing. Hata kuandika barua ni ngumu because people don't read anymore. And I believe the entire nation, Kenya, we don't read. And yet our literacy level, particularly among the young, from 15 to 24, is 95%. For the adults, it's about 83%. We are fourth in Africa in terms of literacy. So why can't we read? And yet we know the value of reading. So please, again, I want to remind you, when you read, you experience immense inner peace. You feel it. So read. Entertain yourselves through the books. Don't complain of boredom. Hey, ati nimefika beyond the proverbial 70 years. I'm so bored. But why? Aibu kwako. So I want to tell you, it is not enough to read books. But the bottom line is to implement the lessons that you learn. Knowledge acquired through reading books, the memoirs like Kitware, this one, should never go to waste. Let us, in terms of statistics, not be described as watu ambao walikuja wakaenda. Statistics. How are we going to remember you? Your children, your relatives, yani posterity. We are told graveyards are full of great men and women. Don't be that category. This is my urge. So my parting shot, I said I will not take too long. It's not often that I talk to you. I'm retired but not tired. Now that the libraries have been devolved one expects that we shall find books in our libraries, in our county libraries. We shall find them there. So for our people to read. So let us visit these reservoirs of knowledge more. Let us do whatever it takes to make our children love reading books. You know what amazes me? And I've been in many places with some of the friends I see here, and my own children. They have a passion for watching maybe TV, reading, scrolling on their phones. Lakini mambo ya kusoma au kusikiliza news ni ngumu. Whom are you going to lead? With limited knowledge, I can tell you. It is limited. Don't be cheated. Musome. If you do, you'll be better citizens of this motherland of ours. The country we love so much. Yep. Your knowledge will help you to navigate successfully the seemingly insurmountable challenges of the 21st century. If our young people who are keen to learn, you won't see so few students from Kemu here today. We have been told they have more than 4,000 students. Ni kweli ama ni uongo? Where are they? They should be prepared to drink from the fountain of knowledge from their fathers and forefathers, like in Tuareg. Lakini wasema bunda. You mean you can't learn from your bunda? Come on. I won't tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. In this gathering, we are really blessed to have men and women who are very educated, very knowledgeable, people who can smell injustice meted on the poor and then downtrodden from far. You can smell it. You can smell injustice, like in Tuareg. And even the rest of the society. You know, the ones who came to very rich, they are not exempt. So like Mzee Tuareg, I appeal, nay, challenge you and other Kenyans to fight for your rights without fear, without favor. In this space of fighting against injustice like in Tuareg, fear is not an option. It isn't. That I can tell you. As I conclude on this matter, injustice, fighting against injustice. And don't say, Kaimenyi speak in politics. Who told you politics is not for all of us? Politics begins in the tummy when somebody's in the mother's womb. The child starts fighting for oxygen there. Siasa inaanzia hapo. Tuliambiwa siasa ni maisha ama tuliambiwa aje? Na moi, then giraffe. So I want to advise us this. And I'm your principal Mugwe. My role as your principal Mugwe is to advise you, and by extension, the nation. Yes, indeed, there was a nice MOU today between our president and retired and the former Prime Minister Oginga, right, Odinga. There's nothing wrong to have an MOU. It is within the confines of the law. It is their constitutional right, yes. But my wish, ladies and gentlemen, is that promises we have heard today and the ones we have heard in the past must be fulfilled. Kusema na kutenda. Sio domo peke yake. So that Kenyans can appreciate the value of that MOU. They reminded us they will fight corruption. It must be done in word and deed. How do you explain, for example, that in our appointments you don't see the face of Kenya. You see a few tribes. As if women in other parts of the country have not given birth. We have task forces which come out from time to time. The recent one here, Professor Munavu, education reforms. My challenge again is that we look forward, because of this MOU, to see the implementations of those task forces, so that this Kenya, as they said, will never be the same again. That is my dream of Kenya. Na mkisema nimesema siasa, nimesema hakuna matata. So with those many remarks, it is now my present duty and honor to officially launch this book and urge you to buy. Don't say you have no vitamin M, vitamin money. I don't know how much is going to be sold. Make sure, Bwana John Museveni Gitonga, this book finds its way amongst the 10 bookshops in Meru County, Meru Town. Asanteni na Mungu awabariki ninyi.
Another clap for Professor. I know our time is so much gone, but in a nice way. Wasn't that good? You felt like you were in a classroom, taking notes. Is it? I want us to now launch the book. Somebody will help me bring Mzee Karibu. And because the people that were to sing to us have gone because of time, everyone here will be a dancer. You will have to dance. I want us to stand, forget about everything else, forget about the jam, the Nairobi jam. I want everyone to start. When you start, we launch the book. If you sit, we are not going to launch the book. So I just want us to take the next 15 minutes to finish everything so that we can release our guest. Tunajua mzee pia anachoka sababu ya kuketi. Kanyere kainagoi mwene, and everyone, I want us to inia them. Call the family members. I want now the Kanyere song to be, all of us to dance to that song, as I call the former governor, Honorable Kiraito Murungi, the professor, the mzee, Mr. Haridhi, the very immediate family, that is the sons and the grandchildren. Kindly, let us do faster as we family from the kindly. The first time you help me do this, nyinyi muongoze mzee Bukiba, always let us say go jameni. Amepeleka watu Canada, wengine ni we cannot do that. Yes, Professor anaonyesha vile tunafaa kuleta mzee jameni. Hatuwezi kuja hivi, hatuwezi simama kama maaskari. We need to work mzee mpaka kuja hapa mbele. tafadhali. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. mzee amefanya kazi. Na sababu amefanya kazi. Na sababu turenda wenda mutano wero washiare roita kumkorwani maunone. You know it was bitter. Lakini sasa sisi tunataka celebrate utamu. Sasa yeye ndio tunapea kwanza ape mzee keki. Nante kwa ndanto bakira yeye mkoro kiruno kwa keki kau. DJ bado natuwekelea song yetu tafadhali. Ukarara boy kama ubao lakini sasa nakula utamu wote. Haya mwenye kwa live tafadhali. tutakula keki tukiwa tumeketi tafadhali. Ndio tualike Father Gideon akuje aweze kuomba maombi ya mwisho. Thank you. Father Gideon akipotea tutaomba ndio tumalize. Thank you guys. I want to call Father Gideon. Okay, thank you. I was looking for you. Tunaweza kuketi kidogo, then we'll have a photo session thereafter. Somebody assist Mzee to sit down. Kindly, somebody to assist Mzee to sit down. Asanteni. Tunaweza kutulia ndio tuweze kuomba tumalize. Thank you. Understand the mothers to do a photo session before the father prays. Allow us to do a short photo session. Sawa, thank you. Hiyo ikiisha, watoto wote wa mzee wakuje wapigwe picha. And plus the publisher, if he has not gone, we'll require a photo with him and mzee. Thank you. Where is the family? The grandchildren? For photo session. The grandchildren for photo session. Ikitaka dakika moja mkipojea tunafunga hiyo session. Ndio mzee asisimame sana. Thank you. Wengine wako wapi? Watoto wa mzee tafadhali tuharakishe because of time. A quick photo session. Thank you. Haraka. Kama wewe you are related to mzee ingine, wewe ingia kwa hiyo photo because hatutapiga ingine. Asante, tuingie kwa photos kindly. Tuingie. Na tukiingia kwa photos na pia other people time to settle down so that we can make the last prayer. Na mwenye alikuwa anatupatia keki, watu waendelee kupewa keki wenye hawajapata. Thank you. Everyone wants this photo with the mzee. It's a good memory to keep. Asante, photo ya mwisho kabisa. Sijui kama publisher yako mwenye alisaidia mzee kuandika kitabu. Yes, Mr. Aredi, unaweza piga picha na mzee ndio aweze kukukumbuka. Sijaona mwenye aliandika kitabu tafadhali. Thank you. Au wakitoka the publisher wingie kwa. Yes, weka hiyo DJ. That's the last photo, camera people, please. The last. Thank you. Let's get settled kindly. We'll do the photos later so that the father can pray.
Tulia kidogo.
the chairman of Kimeru Institute, Mheshimiwa Ntwarithi mwenye kutualika siku ya leo, members of the clergy present today, all the distinguished guests and all the protocols observed. Mungu ni mwema na kila wakati. Okay, labda ilikuwa ni kidogo sana kurudisha shukrani kwa niaba ya familia, na hapo basi tuombe tuwe na maombi ya mwisho. Kwa niaba ya Ntwarithi tungetaka kumrudishia Mungu shukrani kubwa sana kwa zawadi yake ya maisha. Kwa miaka hii amempatia miaka mingi, ameishi duniani, ameona mengi na mengi ambayo tumeweza kuelezewa siku ya leo kwenye kitabu chake alichokiandika. Kwa hivyo tunamshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa zawadi hiyo yake, na Mungu aendelee kumuongezea nguvu mingi siku zote. Kwa James Miladia, the writer, ambaye alimsaidia Mr. Ntwarithi kuweka mafikira yake kwa kitabu hiki, Pia tungetaka kurudishia shukrani sana kama wanafamilia. The Kimeru Institute ambayo tuliweza kuelezewa na wanaotunaita Mlonge wamefanya kazi nyingi sana ya kuona kwamba Kimeru akijapotea, the Kimeru language, the history of the Merian people, bali pale tunashukuru sana, and the culture of our Merian culture bado inaendelea kusoma pale. Tunashukuru sana kwa nafasi hiyo umetupatia siku ya leo. The Kimeru University tunashukuru sana pamoja na staff yote kwa kupatia nafasi hii na mchango wenu mkubwa siku ya leo. The members of the family tunasema asante sana kwa kushikilia mzee kwenye kazi yake, kwenye maisha yake, na Mungu awabariki sana. Na leo imeonekana wazi ya kwamba the unity in the family it has been prevailed. Asante sana, Mungu awabariki. The local community ya Nyage, Wakristo wa Nyage na manjirani wote, asanteni sana kwa kuwa majirani wema wa mzee huyu, na leo mmeonekana hapa kwa wingi. Asanteni sana, Mungu aweze kuwabariki. Wageni wote ambao hawajatajwa majina yao lakini mmeonekana hapa siku ya leo, uwepo wenu umekuwa wa muhimu sana kwetu. Tunawashukuru sana na Mungu awabariki. Kwa sasa tutaweza kujitayarisha tuweze kufunga na maombi, na tutamwalika Padre Dionisius ambaye atatuongoza na maombi ya jioni.
Ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu. Kweli, kweli, ni baraka. Ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu. Kweli, kweli, ni baraka. Baba twahili, ni baraka. Maisha yake ni baraka, familia yake ni baraka, na sisi wote ni baraka. Kweli ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu. Kweli, kweli, ni baraka. Tuombe. Kwa jina la Baba na Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu. Amen. Mungu Baba Mwenyezi, tunakushukuru kwa wema wako unaotujalia wakati wote, hasa mpaka wakati wa sasa. Tunakushukuru kwa tendo hili, kazi hii ya maisha ya baba yetu Twarevi, mahali wakati wowote ulipomleta hapa duniani mpaka wakati wa sasa amepita safari nyingi, na la muhimu sana tumeona amekuwa na imani kubwa zaidi katika maisha yake, na kwa ajili ya wema wako tunaendelea kumbariki. Mzidishie wema wake wa mwili na roho, ili siku zote ambazo umemweka katika ulimwengu huu azidi kujawa na amani na furaha, na zaidi kubariki kazi za mikono yake. Endelea kumbariki na mawazo yatakayozidi kusaidia wengine. Tunabariki pamoja na familia yake, uendelee kuwatunza waweze kupata neema ya kusafiri kama vile baba mzazi wao umempa hizo neema. Tunawabariki na wote ambao wamekusanyika hapa siku ya leo, na yote ambayo tumeyasikia mahusia mazuri ya kutujaza wema katika maisha haya, yajae matunda katika mmoja wetu. Na sasa wakati tunapoagana, tunakuomba uwe pamoja nasi. Bariki kila mmoja katika safari yake, ili sisi sote tuweze kufika katika makao zetu salama na tuzidi kukutumainia katika maisha yetu. Tunaomba hayo yote kwa njia ya Kristo Bwana wetu. Atukuzwe Baba na Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu. Na Mungu Mwenyezi awabariki Baba na Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu. Amina. Mwe na safari njema na jioni ya baraka.
Ngojea shughuli.